Hey, everybody, welcome back to another all new X's for Show, your premier media response show. We are, of course, able to be found as a show at X's for Show on all your socials. But as for me, I'm Nico. You can check me out at Nico Action. It's NICOACTION on all your socials.
And I'm TK. You can find me at TK Elemental.
And that makes me Kevo, and you can find me at Kevo Really. That's KEVOREALLY.
And we have for you our weekly dose and installment of all things TV, media, and goodness. Now, so we have been covering MCU on HTML. So, the predecessor version of this show, right? Forever. And we've been now covering it in this incarnation with this incredible team forever. And Secret Invasion happened, and I feel like I possibly can't trust the previews anymore because it looked good and then it was fine. But we're also going to talk about Drag Race Down Under, which I feel like is how Rue would want me to say it. Like, I don't feel like I'm being annoying saying it that way. I feel like Rue would want me to say it that way.
I really agree.
Not in drag, RuPaul would say it like that. And in drag, RuPaul would just say down under.
And
Yes.
Which actually is what happens.
I don't mean anything untoward. I mean something very serious here, but like I really love that this episode is celebrating two older black men who represent not just leads in their franchises, but executive producers helping to shape their narrative. Now, both of them rose to predominant great stardom later in life. And Samuel L. Jackson has at different times held the distinction of the most money makingest by film intake actor of all time. And I think technically, like RuPaul was like the only drag queen America could name for 20 years and is now killing it over at World of Wonder as like the mogul of all things drag. That's right, Alaska. You might be the 49th state, but Ru is still the number one drag queen.
I mean,
And
RuPaul would say, or Alaska would say the same thing about RuPaul. She reveres her.
And I just want to say,
Hi, Claire.
hey, Talir, super great to have you. Hope that you're strapped in for some MC unification, some drag race goodness, and also, I mean, the crime scene kitchen to end all crime scene kitchens.
I don't know, I agree with that one, but we'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
I also want to say I think it's interesting that both RuPaul and Samuel L. Jackson have consistently been hovering around either side of the line of just being a bit problematic. Samuel L. Jackson, who I adore, and I also adore RuPaul, and I know both of them have the best of intentions for themselves and their work, but like working enthusiastically with Quentin Tarantino is sort of a diminishing returns type of situation, and Samuel L. Jackson has sort of ended up being a Tarantino shield for a lot of Tarantino's racism, and I don't think that is wittingly so, but I also think that he's been so proud of the work, which all movies are beyond the scope of one creator, so he should be proud of them because they're not just Tarantino's work. And similarly, RuPaul, who has done so much to elevate the state of drag, just often finds herself
in a
telling
fracking
people
mess.
that it's mineral rights,
taxing me emotionally.
saying that, having
Trains.
breasts for whatever reason would make you sort of ineligible to be on Drag Race because it's too much of an advantage. Just some problematic stuff. So I find it interesting that both of them are just kind of in this place where we know how much we love them. That's guaranteed. And it's just every once in a while you go, oh, but there's the thing. And hopefully the thing never becomes too much of a thing. And we can just say, it's old people gonna old.
They are practically contemporaries, and that contemporary is both over the age of 60. So that is always something to consider. Legends often are legends due to the amount of time they have been here. and that is
Bald and
great.
into eyewear.
And
Yes.
I do want to say they both represent a
And headgear.
fabulousness that you're not going to find outside of each other.
Mhm.
And that's for all the ways in which RuPaul is the drag queensiest drag queen. We do need to take a step back and acknowledge that Samuel L. Jackson got Mace Windu a purple lightsaber.
Mhm.
And I don't think anything is cool queenier than that. So that's
Samuel Jackson doesn't have a Michelle Visage though.
no, I think it's Quentin Tarantino, the
Yeah.
loudmouth
Oh my God.
person.
Yeah,
I think everything they do is pretty great, you know. I think
Um,
that's
Oh.
And Michelle Visage version of feet is glasses.
I am so sorry for that Quentin Tarantino impression that I just did, because it was sort of what if Quentin Tarantino when a velociraptor went into the fly machine. So okay.
I mean, he's like a human Donald Duck. What are you even gonna?
Well, I want to get us cracking into this episode.
Let's get crack-a-lackin'.
We were supposed to start with favorite Marvel TV series as an opening question.
I was wondering if we were doing a question.
We always are. But
See
so,
this working yet? Oh,
but it's a quick one. You got to fire it, right?
Yeah.
No deep thought.
Yeah.
Favorite Marvel TV series, because Werewolf by Night is a movie technically. For me, Daredevil. Pretty easy, pretty slam dunk. Daredevil is just the big time best that lives in my heart all the time. And such a big fan of the portrayal from all of the actors. How about you guys?
I'm gonna go ahead and say Ms. Marvel.
That's a top 5 answer for me as well. So Daredevil for me, Ms. Marvel for you, Kevo. I mean, Ms. Marvel for you, TK. Kevo, who for you?
I'm torn. Can I be torn?
Yeah, because it's a preliminary question.
Torn between WandaVision and She-Hulk,
Those
which
were
give
my
a lot
other
of this.
two.
They give a lot of the same thing, but one is a lot more dramatic comedic, and the other is a lot more comedic dramatic. So,
Wow,
like,
we picked the 4 shows with the most feminine leads.
I love that for us.
My joke being that Daredevil is a more feminine lead than Jessica Jones.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's
So-
a bottom.
Yeah,
so-
I
right.
mean, he's prettier.
Ooh, I just want to say, Talir, I'm all about it. That was also in my top 5.
It was the first of the Disney Plus, and so it was, it was a moment. It was a thing.
It put the plus in the Disney television content. It really did. It was something extra, right? And look at how we're still saying Agatha all along, Okay. But I want to get into it. I don't want to waste time. Let's talk about it. Secret Invasion. Not a lot happened. I loved this character that Nick Fury was playing. He was playing like Man on the Moon, Nick Fury from the comics, maybe. I did not recognize this character as like a linear embodiment of Nick Fury from the last 10 years of Marvel. He did a really, really good job. But, for me, the number one thing about this entire production was Olivia Colman. And I mean this truly. I'm not trying to be like, I don't know if you can be like typecasting like, oh, British women. But like, if you ask me what would happen if an Adele song came to life, it's Olivia Colman in this. She's going to set fire to your reign. She is going to have it all. You're going to wish you never met her. It's insane. I loved her.
The love child of Adele and Amy Winehouse, because there's also that
No,
I'm
that's
going
not
to...
No.
I don't know that I feel Adele is all the way into I'm going to stab you. Burn your house down is very different from stab you. But Amy was very, I'm going to stab you for the last drink. And that is very Olivia. There's that edge to her, and I love it.
I will say, I wish they had made her a little bit more fashion. This is the moment where I'm like, she's kind of got a pocket bag, she's got her handbag with her and a pocketbook, and I just wish it was a little bit like she came to serve. She came into this butcher's.
There's Lord and Taylor, and then there's Nordstrom's, and like I I think we all know.
And I want her to be Barney's. I want her to be Saks Fifth Avenue. I mean, like, and she's doing it. Literally, the costumes aren't doing it. Literally, what she is in isn't doing it. And when you talk about, like, being Adele and Amy Winehouse, that's, like, a bit of a missing component. It's minor, and it doesn't ruin the character at all.
It values. It matters. It goes into the matrix of what creates the power of this character. I'm with you completely.
And, I really do think it is a bit unique to her. Helen Mirren, who could do anything and should be an amazing MCU character, could not be this character. Helen Mirren, who's so good in the Fast and Furious franchise, out of nowhere, with her ridiculous accent. Helen Mirren is amazing. She can do anything, but she would not be appropriate for this role.
I'm just saying right now, Helen Mirren for Onslaught.
I mean, I love it. Helen Mirren for Cassandra Nova,
Oh, man.
So,
actually, I kind of want Rita Moreno for Cassandra Nova, but...
Oh, I love that. I was just watching an episode of Grey's Anatomy where she's just amazing. Anyway.
Women with accents.
Nothing else from this, because I don't actually know that we can say that we will be taking Emilia Clarke's character from this. I don't know if that's ever a thing we're really going to see again.
The creator specifically says he does not know if anyone has any plans for Olivia Colman or Emilia Clarke, but he feels personally satisfied by their accomplishments and the conclusion. Also, I see Talir also thinks that Rita Moreno is Cassandra Nova. Guys, can you imagine her just being like, and this is why we must get our revenge. Like that, the intensity, the eyes. Moreno, everything to me.
My thinking is this is a tough character to bring back, to explain, to not eat every scene, to not be like, well, if she's there, then there's no fight because she just wins.
But is that why you cast Emilia Clarke, maybe?
Yeah. Where, Olivia Colman's character could show up in every movie and just be like, I've got the intel. Hey, I'm going to play off you perfectly, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
But I say the anti-Julia Louis-Dreyfus. What a great call.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's this outfit, again, not serving... I think it's super easy to put her in a bunch of movies, and I think that it's easy for her to show up. She doesn't have to get in prosthetics or makeup, barely has to get into an outfit, apparently. So, I think, like I said...
I know what it is.
What?
Ann Taylor Loft.
Yep, 100%.
Figured it out. It just took me a minute. Sorry
100%. Yep. I think we can take her out of this. I think we will take her away from this, and she will be in a lot more... what a delight that is.
Let's hope it's not exactly what Talir is saying, which she might not show back up for 20 years. But hey, we got that amazing appearance from Rick Mason, which was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Should have had a cap of that, yeah.
Oh, what a handsome guy. Always happy to see him grace my screen. But, Kevo, you had a really strong reaction to this character. You had a really strong reaction to a lot of this. And when I repeated it to TK, he had the same reaction. And I think we all agreed one of the things that was the hardest about this show was how good so much of it was, but not for the MCU. How this doesn't really jibe with the rest of the universe in some ways. And how characters like this could just disappear.
Yeah, and in some ways it does really jibe with the rest of the MCU, but it's in such a quiet, subtle way. I think the biggest surprise from this that we had kind of suspected might be the case as we were going through it, but didn't really want to be the case, was that this didn't have a truly climactic conclusion.
No.
Secret Invasion was really more about introducing this concept of Skrulls. They're out there. Watch out for them.
That's right,
so
Linda.
now,
people die.
That's right, Linda. Skrulls are out there, and they look like your family, and you don't know what's going to happen. And now the president who dated Rachel in season 9 of Friends is super racist against Skrulls, so anti-Skrull legislation, bad, and that'll probably have reverberations through other stuff. But
Or
that
like
was,
maybe it won't.
I feel like it will, but I even hear what you're saying because I don't think it's going to be huge.
No.
It'll just be something. It
Yeah.
might come up in Captain Marvel because she deals with Korean Skrulls. Maybe not, because who
She
knows what's
deals
going on with
with
that movie.
Korean
I
Skrulls.
just heard Korean Skrulls. I was like, I think they're from another planet, but I guess they made themselves at home over the last 30 years. Their whole plan just gets derailed through infighting because they've all emigrated to different countries and really absorbed the identities.
That would be a really fascinating Skrull story.
Yeah, we're already pitching better stuff than I think we're ever getting from this particular corner.
There's a group of Skrulls that just have it all set to assassinate Margaret Cho. So but I do want to say that the thing that I'm here to talk the most about is actually how much I loved how effortlessly everybody played together. The writing was very, very good, but didn't fit for me at times. The score was tremendous, but felt like it was sometimes for other scenes than what it was in. But man, oh man, no one lacked, like, everybody had like famous foursome TV show chemistry with everyone else. Even when I didn't buy the dialogue for those characters, I was like, these people have such an incredible time showing off their craft to one another. I just felt it was a celebration of what makes acting. And again, not bad writing, excellent writing, just maybe not always in line with other shows' writing.
For me, the one real kind of loser, maybe is the wrong word, but like didn't quite get the assignment, was kind of doing his own thing. He's in the independent study program, is Kingsley Benadir's Gravik. He is just, he acts very well, very skilledly, but the randomness of it does not give me, I'm a Skrull who can't act human. It gives me, I'm an actor who decided I had 8 different motivations, scene to scene, show, like episode to episode.
He'd make a marvelous The Master on Doctor Who.
100%. I pitch. I'll take it. Russell T Davies, I'm sure you haven't cast that at all yet, so here's a freebie for you.
You definitely watch us because of our beautiful episode covering Doctor Who in
Hundo
its many
B,
splendid
that's
existences since the revamp in 2005.
It was at times very Jonathan Sims Master, but at the start he's like so Clonopined out and just like in that car, like kind of slouched and like about to fall asleep. And I'm like, we're supposed to be terrified of this dude?
Benzodiazepine.
Because he's so relaxed that he's not bothered by anything. Isn't that so cool and interesting?
It was very weird.
It works if you're Michael Myers walking really slow, but like even Freddy needs to like giggle as he's running toward you or it doesn't work.
And you actually bring up a great point, which is that he's not like, if he had been immediately cold-heartedly violent, I think he would have been more frightening. And that choice to be so understated would have been quite chilling. If he had been just like, if anybody pushes back, I murder them without blinking. But then, he's taken it to a 12 by the last episode. And whenever he fights anybody or kills anybody, it is like the most explosive thing. And it kind of isn't even scary, and it doesn't feel high stakes. It just feels like a child having a tantrum that has superpowers, which actually would be scarier.
It's not high stakes, it's Omaha stakes.
Yeah, it's irradiated Russian stakes.
And maybe we're supposed to think that he is young and impetuous in that way, like he is kind of a child still, but it's that thing of where, like, if you don't really cast right and highlight it correctly, it's hard to tell. Like that thing of Jack Crusher is supposed to be 22, but he's 47.
Yeah. Yes, that is a fantastic comparison. And that he is that Shooter McGavin is like, let's vote this guy to be the Skrull governor or whatever.
Goose from Grease 2. Thank you very much.
That whole scene, the Skrull mafia families coming together to decide what they're gonna do next, and they choose to make Gravik the Don. Man, there's so much that, like, it's a setup for something good. It's even the setup for something Marvel good. Like, if this were the Spider-Man gang war setup with Shooter McGavin as one of the gang leaders and the other people that were acting in that scene as other gang leaders, like, there's something there. And Mr. Robot Guy clearly gets a form of storytelling very well. I don't think I'm an alien with everybody's superpowers.
Okay. Yes, I'm so glad you went there. Because can I ask you guys a question,
Yeah.
Kevy? Yeah. I need your opinion first, because as it was happening, as we're in bed together, and catch footage of that on the OnlyFans cams. But as we're in bed together watching this, I'm like, so she's still little Amelia Clark, and then she has CGI'd onto her body Dave Bautista's trend out arm, and like, it's so big, and it literally makes it look like, I don't know, it looks like Chucky Finster wearing Galactus's arm. It's
the
just
opposite
insane.
of when Deadpool has the tiny legs in
Yes.
Deadpool 2.
Yes. And so it looked so silly, but like, I was really into it. I think the only thing I didn't love was that, like, she's like, sleep. Like, it was a little too on the nose at times, but like,
you were cracking up about that.
I can't get over it. I think it's the funniest thing that they thought that her touching his head with the mantis antenna would not be enough for us. We needed her to say sleep to believe it. I don't know.
And then that she decided that she would throw in a little palm.
A little palm affectation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very cute.
So, Kevo, what is your take on this? Because I thought it was like a really cool way to elevate a character into a badassery. And I thought, even though it was silly, I was in for the Burger King Kids Club of it. How did you feel about Combo Man?
I was in for the Burger King Kids Club of it, but this is one of those things where I feel like creators themselves need to figure out their proper balance. Do you want to do like super hard Mr. Robot, Mr. and Mrs. Smith shooting at the wall, facing each other stuff? Or is it, smash action figures? And can you do both together? I guess they don't have to be mutually exclusive. That's part of what we're talking about here.
Now, TK, I feel like you maybe thought the whole thing was a little bit less good-natured funny than I did. It felt like, as I'm driving in the car, and you had a sort of like, are you serious that you thought this was amazing kind of reaction?
I want to say first that Ali Galactic is with us and is on Nico's side here. It was so comic book stupid that I can't help but love it.
Oh, well, now I feel like...
Ali, now you've
like
hyped him up, and we're never going to be able to calm him back down.
No, never, ever.
So my big thing is, I agree. It is so comic book stupid. There is a charm to it. I think that was accidental. I think that
I can live with it being accidental. I watch Glee.
Yeah, 100%. Who doesn't love a happy accident? I think we are all children of Bob Ross at this point.
Or J.G. Williams III, who any mistake he ever drew into anything, he just made part of his process, which literally just makes him better than all.
I just think Kyle Bradstreet didn't ever laugh during this and didn't ever see the innate humor or camp in Marvel comic properties, in spy versus spy shit, in you know, and it's things like there's no nods to anything. The one disappointment I had with the music is that like there's no like touch on the Avengers, like Emma Peel Avengers, like touch on Spy versus Spy, touch on the the Prisoner. So many things
For British eyes only.
I mean, yes, they got they got why spy stuff is a little bit silly on Arrested Development. And I just think that, if I know it would have killed the surprise of the reveal of Amelia Clark being a Super Skrull, but like, if she could have been with Samuel L. Jackson doing the sleep, and he could have been like, why did you say it like Mantis? That's enough. Like, just a little moment.
Why did you say it like the bug lady?
Exactly. The entire show would have been more or less the same, but there's just some recognition that this is all a bit silly. And on top of that, it's a silly moment, and there is none of that. And I don't want to say there's no joy, because actually there is joy in the love between Samuel L. Jackson and the woman who ultimately turns out to be his wife. The best, most unexpected twist on the show and in the history of the Nick Fury character.
And what chemistry, what flawless excellence of communication when, they have that moment where they're pulling the gun on each other and they purposely miss. That shouldn't be good. I've seen it done so many times it bores me. And I don't know how these two actors who I have never seen in anything together before made me believe they could have truly, like, it had that level of maybe this is a couple working together chemistry.
Did you watch Glass? Because I made you.
I have not yet seen Glass.
Okay, they do act together in Glass, and I'm kind of curious.
Oh wow, that's so. I feel like I picked up on that they have a history together. That's amazing.
What their background is like. But yeah, there's very much one of those, like, we keep each other safe in a scene. We allow the scene to elevate. We can take a tropey moment, and the shooting each other scene, it is an amazing moment because you don't get the trope is they both shoot the wall and then they go, haha, we're gonna be together the whole time. We were in it together the whole time. Instead, you're like, they just didn't shoot each other this moment, and it's not clear that they won't in the next.
Yep.
They are great. They are where Ali says every time they shared the screen together, it was absolute gold. I mean, that's exactly it. It really was gold. It was its own show. Nick Fury's Romance Hour, such an important show, such a different direction for the character who, in comics is mostly with Countess Allegra, which Samuel Jackson opposite Julia Louis-Dreyfus's romantic interests. Unhinged as it would be, I would hate it, but the bravery of it. But, here we get somebody who feels like only she could be Nick Fury's wife, and this question of how both of their races and her layered race as both an alien and an alien who has chosen to adopt the face and life of a woman of color, there's like a billion things to talk about there. And I wish maybe that was Kyle Bradstreet's Werewolf by Night length film rather than
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah song length number.
Rather than this, because while he just got a lot of stuff, I think the stuff that he missed was stuff that you really can't miss if you're gonna have a success.
Now, Kevo, I want you to weigh in on all of it, whether it's on the relationship between the characters, on the nature of the storytelling, or, as was mentioned earlier, that Gaia kind of reads like Combo Man, the Marvel advertisement by Combos that asked you to figure out just which parts came from whom. And so
He's got Magneto shoulders.
Which is like the sexiest thing I've ever seen. But guys, that's literally so. And if you think about it, that could literally be all of it. There doesn't need to be the rest of the cape because it could truncate there. Anywhere else, you'd have to be like, where does the cape go? But like here, it's just a tiny little cape. So it's a wheel pill. So, Kevo,
Like a collar.
it's like it's like one of those like fake ties.
It's that
Um,
capelet you're freaked out about in Disney.
Oh my gosh! Whenever a princess wears a capelet and I have a panic attack, it's amazing. So, okay, Kevo, final thoughts. Tell me, Secret Invasion. Did it invade you? Was it a secret, or do you feel like Ali Galactic, who would watch a Return of the King extended length edition Nick Fury team about these two saving the Skrulls and being Earth diplomats and clandestine problem solving? I was like reading the next part, film that team. Hey, no, I'd watch the team because I'd also throw in Olivia Colman and Gaia, right? I would give them that hugeness. So Kevo, gimme. I'm needy.
There were a lot of interesting things in this at the end of the day. I think it is another example above anything else of if I'd gotten to binge this all in one day at my own leisure instead of having to wait weekly, I would have probably enjoyed it more.
Good for Echo.
Yeah, maybe that'll benefit it. I feel like so many of the Marvel shows we've gotten, very few, I've been like, yay, let's watch it weekly. No, I would rather just get everything done and I'd probably digest it better. I really feel what TK was saying about, some of these sequences, the question of whether or not the showrunner felt the joy of these, it makes you wonder how much was you have to put in this sequence, you have to put in this sequence. And, it's the strength of production that so much of it is still enjoyable, even if it isn't necessarily as smoothly put into a production like this. The acting was really great. I would love to see Amelia Clark again. I don't know where and I don't know when. It's the same for so many of the characters that were introduced here. I think the fact that these films are being made so much like comic books now is so strange and fun and exciting and interesting and terrifying, because we could very well never see Fury's wife again. I would love to see her in the Marvels, or he could say, it didn't work out, and that could be it. But even that wouldn't necessarily preclude seeing them in exactly what Ali described, or some other project down the line. The same way that Tony and Pepper broke up for 2 seconds in Civil War, and then immediately got engaged again in the next movie that he appeared in. Like, it's all just kind of fly by the seat of their pants sometimes, and you just have to roll with it the way that they do, the way that comics do, where one writer wants to do one thing and then another writer wants Tony Stark and Emma Frost to get married. So who knows?
I think that's a fantastic point. I also think the movies are a little bit at the mercy of fan reaction in a way that comics kind of aren't. Comics, it's sales. We see the sales number, and that's the thing, which kind of speaks to fan reaction a little bit, but sort of also doesn't, in that we can hate something that we all buy. When a moment is super memeable or super exciting, gets people talking online, that really becomes a thing. And that's why I think we're taking Olivia Colman out of this, because I think they knew she was going to be great, but I think, people really loved her, and it's like I said, she'd bring her in, that's easy. I think this is another one where it is possible to have these two actors on screen. Doing the Skrullness of it might be a little bit more difficult, but she has a human form, so that's fine. And I could really see them making real use out of their chemistry together. I also want to note that Charlene Woodard, who plays Priscilla, also played the youngest of the 4 sisters in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She is Will Smith's aunt who marries a white man, leading to my favorite joke in the history of the show because nobody in the family approves of it. And Will goes out to talk to him while he's out on the patio and goes, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he goes, "Just trying to get some color."
I just need to say real quick, if we're going to talk about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Please.
seeing someone who was so outright uncool, but I still thought was so cool in Carlton,
Mhm.
because I knew he was a nerd, but like I could see where like he had an incredible heart as a character. And Alfonso is like a beautiful man who dances literally better than any 9,999 people in front of him and makes a damn fine game show host. So,
Well, and the whole point of Carlton is like he ages like that's a that's not cool as a kid, but once you're past 21, that's like the coolest guy you know.
I'm shocked nobody ever called Manny on Modern Family. Listen up, Latin Carlton.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
true. Lost
I
joke
don't
right there.
I don't have Alfonso, but I grabbed this for you mid-broadcast. I have a different handsome black nerd.
Oh my god.
There's your Rick.
dude. What an
And this is
incredible
even-
character. What an
Great.
incredible pull. What a great
it's-
movie.
And it's what we're talking about. You can pull so many characters from other things, and hopefully Olivia's character, Amelia's character, all of them.
My one thing with this guy is that he becomes like a now I want like now I need a little bit more. Now
And
I
he had
need-
no idea. They told him like his role was done, and they were like brought him in for this because there was such great fan reaction.
Yeah.
Speaking of fan reaction,
Go on.
we're gonna play a little game.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna react to every Marvel television show ever. It's quick reaction. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. You gotta have a quick take. Fight milk.
Fight like a milk! Wait, what?
What's the one from Clone High?
Extreme Blue!
Extreme Blue. Oh, stick it in your face hole. Okay, I'm so
So
excited.
sorry, listeners, specifically, for how loud that was.
All right, Kevo, bring up that first slide. This is going to represent kind of all the pre-D plus TV, whether it was put in production pre-D plus or came out pre-D plus. Just get it over there in that other pile. Whether it was Jeff Loeb pre, post, or during some insensitive comments. We have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have... Clicking on through. Next one.
Oh, clicking on through, sure.
Yeah, Agent Carter. Next up, we have the Inhumans, which, hey, Captain Pike, what are you doing here? Terrible place for you, bro. We have the Runaways. Hey, Nico. Maybe not my namesake. Cloak and Dagger. And is that the whole thing? Oh, Hellstrom. Oh,
Yep.
God, you should have been so good.
No, it was good. We're gonna get into it.
It was okay, but
It was better than okay, less than great.
all right.
It was
so
mid-pando. We weren't in the place for it.
we weren't in the place.
That was actually gonna be my point. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get
okay.
there.
Scoreboard me.
Yeah. Kevo, you cool if I switch over?
Yeah.
That's my new favorite sexual thing. Scoreboard me, guys.
Oh, I
Oh,
want to
I
get
thought it was Kevo
scoreboard.
switching
It's so
over.
good.
I love both of those. All right. It's you just got to react when you hear it. What do you think? Thumbs up, medium, or thumbs down? When I hear Agent Carter, I think thumbs up big time.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
When you hear Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what do you think? I think medium.
Hmm.
No, it's a thumbs up for me.
I'm gonna balance this with a thumbs down because it's not a flat no thumbs, but it's thumbs down.
Okay, so that keeps it at 0.
Oh wow, Ali Galactic flying in with a thumbs down in
Thumbs
case we need a
down. Oh, I was
tiebreaker.
all alone in this one.
I famously misspell this every single time. Cloac. I put an extra
Cloaca
C
and
in there.
Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger.
That's
We
a
didn't
thumbs down.
watch it, but honestly, it's a thumbs down for me. It was not everything I've read didn't do anything for
I
me.
did
Really
watch it.
sorry.
It is bad.
Yeah.
That's 3 thumbs down.
Yeah.
My Stromzy, I'm gonna give this, even though it didn't work for me, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. it didn't work for me, but giving Marvel a chance at horror, giving characters that I love so much. You know what? Warren Ellis should be tied to a pole and have raw chicken thrown at him. But the
That's like
Hellstrom
his
he
kink.
gave
Don't
us.
do that. Punish him
Oh
another
God,
way.
no! Fuck. Okay. It's a world where no one has feet, I guess. But I think the Hellstrom he gave us is the greatest gift ever, and so I will protect that run and those characters till I catch on fire. And I'm going to give Hellstrom a thumbs up.
I also give it a thumbs up. Show with a ton of potential that made the most of what it had. I think everything about this on Disney Plus really, and like with the full MCU behind it, and maybe with an intention and a promise to have this touch things like Werewolf by Night, this could have been an out the gate, out of the park banger.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs medium then, because it didn't really prove itself to me.
Fair.
It has all the pieces like y'all are saying. The dude is super handsome. But we didn't finish, so like I can't in good conscience give it a thumbs up if we didn't even finish.
It's no Legion. All right.
Yeah.
Great example. Yeah.
Legion, a perfect TV show.
But it could be.
Yep, it could have been.
Inhumans, thumbs down. Sorry, no interest. I'm not an Inhumans guy. If I want incest, I'll just, I don't know, go watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep, it's a thumbs down for me.
Oh. So
Allie,
many thumbs.
I will add that to the score. I'll do all
That's 32
64.
people.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more. A couple handless guys in the mix. Yeah. It wasn't good. I remember at the time they were even saying like this is gonna capitalize on Game of Thrones-ness and like, who can take the crown and houses and families, and it didn't. It was just flat. It was just completely lifeless. Kevin, I gave you the thumbs down, even though you didn't actually call that.
I think I did, but we were all saying it so loudly at the same time that it was hard to tell who was saying what.
All right, Runaways, no thumb. I actually am the pansexual disaster that is Nico Minoru. That is Nico Action. I'm not saying that at 17, 18 years old, I completely changed my identity and started going by Nico because this character changed my life or anything. So having Nico on television, big thumbs up. The show, kind of a big thumbs down. So in the middle for me.
This is, I made a conscious choice not to do decimals for this game.
You're perfect.
I'm not going to give this one a thumbs up. It is going to get a no thumbs. I really wish I could give it half a thumb because there are some things about this.
Wait, what if we each give it half a thumb? Kevo, do you want to share the one thumb together?
I'm going to give it 1 point.
Or can we share a thumb?
Yeah. Some really good casting all around.
And Talir seems to agree with the share thumb.
Yes, thumbs up for potential.
It's a bear dance.
Was it an absolute body blow to see that James Marsters was capable of aging? And boy, did he do it. Yes, that made things real difficult.
I will give this. It is not a very good adaptation of the source material.
Yeah.
But there are things that it does that it changes from the source material that I found cool and interesting that I hadn't been expecting, and changes to characters that I ultimately really enjoyed. What an interesting interpretation of Alex.
Yeah.
Yes.
So many
and
other
that actor
things.
is so good.
Yes. He's a great actor. I love Pink, and but again, I didn't watch season 3. So, and that had.
How did we not watch? Yeah, with Elizabeth Shue, like
Elizabeth Hurley.
No, Elizabeth Hurley. I almost said
what I
Winona
even
Ryder.
meant. I
So,
just
I almost said
immediately think
Winona
she
Ryder.
throws shoes. I don't know. All right.
The Devil from Bedazzled. I didn't watch for that. That tells you something. So no
Kevo.
thumbs up.
Okay. So then our final tally pre-DTV. Agent Carter, how it should be. Great job, lady.
Yeah.
And Inhumans at a negative 69, which both describes its position and what I would do with Anson Mount. So, but
A
positive.
negative 60 is that?
No, a positive 60. It's the absolute value of 69.
Okay. I was
A
just
negative
curious about what
69
that
is
might look
where-
like.
Is where you're on the bottom, but you're okay with it. That's what you're saying.
I thought it was where you're kind of back to back.
Ooh, okay, yeah, but it's like anyway. Okay, next tier. I believe this goes to Kevo to introduce our other things.
Hold on. I might have to stop and reshare my screen. Because the
Oh,
internet-
as Wanda says to Black Bolt, what mouth? Man, everybody knows my thing about Wanda, and that like I sleep on a Wanda pillow. I don't sleep on it; it stays in my guest bedroom where I sleep sometimes, because everybody just crashes on whatever bed, right? But I love my Wanda pillow. She's so beautiful. Wanda. Anyway, Netflix TV. Let's do it. Daredevil, greatest TV show ever. Jessica Jones, of course. Luke Cage, a man so beautiful, he needs to be bigger than any other man to contain that much beautiful. Iron Fist, Defenders. My heart didn't deserve this, but this poster Kevo picked is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
As Kevo, can you just point out the thing you pointed out that made my heart sing?
Oh yeah, is it the truck?
It's a
That it's
Rand truck.
Industries. Love that.
What a nice little touch.
Yeah.
So cute.
And then from there, Punisher, where John Barenthal is too beautiful and problematic to think of.
Daddy
Okay.
Broken Nose.
That's all right. A couple of hockey pucks right where they should go.
Daddy of the hockey injuries. I was gonna say, yeah.
Right? Jeff Lemire could only hope to write that. So, okay, TK, take over. By the way, everybody gets a good Essex County reference, right? That's like still a thing we do. It's still Essex County is still a thing. Daredevil. I only wish I had more votes. I wish I had a twin that I could like blackmail into voting for Daredevil.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yep, consummate 3 stars. We all knew this was coming. It really was a great show.
Yeah. Iron Fist. Negative. Absolutely bad. Colleen Wing, great. Things about it, great. Oh, Sacha Dhawan, who could anything he wants to do. The guy could literally read me the ingredients for a starburst.
Yeah, but then we have the disgusting interpretation of Mary. How dare you?
Especially now that you are like the king of the Mary stands.
Yes. So yeah, Kevo, are you?
Oh
you're on
God,
team-
yes. Ali Galactic, you said literally the best words ever. There's a companion series to this, the Billy Club, where we talk about Daredevil with Tori Sheehan. It's the 3 of us with Tori Sheehan, and sometimes my Daredevil crush Tim Burnham stops by. And the thing that all of us agree on, among many other things, is that Karen Page is great, but Deborah Ann Wall's Karen Page transforms the medium and gives new life to a character that echoes back to 1964 and back to the present again. She is a gift like every fan deserves, an interpretation like Daredevil, and an actress like Deborah Ann Wall playing a Karen.
Yep. But back to Iron Fist. I think.
Didn't mean
we're
to.
-3 for 3, right?
Yeah. There were things we liked about it by the end, but yeah.
I mean, the other problem now is that we have an Asian Iron Fist. So, like, the only, now the character can't even work. Like, now Danny Rand can't even be Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's just, it's got to go forever.
All right, Jessica Jones, I feel bad, but what I don't like is that it really outweighs what I love, and I feel terrible about it, but like,
You should.
the gross assassination of Patsy doesn't work for me. I don't think it shows depth. I don't think it shows complication. I think it shows a one-dimensional interpretation of a 9-dimensional idea. And I feel like the project became torture porn Jessica a little too hard for me. And while I love so much of what was good, I have to give it just a middle ground. It's not bad. I'm not here to give it a negative, but middle all the way.
It's a thumbs up for me. I think everything you're saying is totally true. I think Patsy was another victim of this not actually being in the MCU, because I think pulling Patsy out of the raft in another property and rehabbing the character through MCU storytelling really could have given us something. And Allie, with the loving season 1, completely agree. I agree season 2 is a little bit more mixed, so I get the no thumbs. But yeah, for me, it's a total plus. And yeah, yes, Talir, David Tennant was so phenomenal as the Purple Man, a really difficult villain to make phenomenal. Yeah. So anyway, I'm a plus. What about you, Kevo?
I'm also gonna say no thumbs, but it's because I did love so much of the first season,
Sure.
and I was disappointed by the lost potential. But kind of like we were saying during the Secret Invasion coverage, I don't think that precludes seeing some amount of characters from this. We could see Patsy again in the way that we loved her. I feel there's ways they can work and write around that. That's comic books, baby. So
Patsy, in the way that
hopefully.
we loved her, would be the greatest comeback picture of all time.
Yes.
I also just need to say,
Posters in the background of the next thing.
I can't breathe when Mike Coulter flexes. And it has nothing just to do with how big he is, because he is gigantic. But a lot of men are even bigger. And he is big, but men are bigger. It's that when Mike Coulter fills a space, he makes every inch of that space react to him. And that's what it takes to be a good Luke Cage. Alfre Woodard screaming, "I did not want it," will scream through my head forever. A lot of things did not go right for Luke Cage. I really need to do the same thing for Runaways, where I'm going to give this a half a thumb up. So if somebody else wants to share a half thumb with me, I'll take it.
Can't do it. This is, I think you and I are a bit flipped on this and Jessica Jones, which is, unfortunate, because they actually ought to be better companion pieces and support each other in a way that makes them both shows better. And Marvel Netflix simply was not prepared to do that work. It was certainly prepared to have... You're muted.
Allie half thumbed with me, so click it in.
All right. Keva, where were you on this one before I do the final score?
I'm gonna no thumb it, because I don't necessarily I think there are things about it that might have made it more of a thumbs down, but there were a lot of things that I really loved about it. I think you said a lot of really great things about it. Would have really benefited from a lot more interconnection between Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. It would have made both shows better. I think this show succeeded more without it, and I think Jess went more off the rails without it. But yeah.
All right. The Defenders, big thumb down. Sorry about it. Elektra is my everything. Anyone who knows me, like, my personal system of magic is based on Elektra. But this was not what I wanted.
I love it. I liked it at the time. It would still be getting a thumbs up for me. But it also now really gets one because none of the stuff that I had a problem with can carry over into the MCU and kind of taint it. They got the hand wrong. It had some standard problems, but like what it got wrong about the mythology of the hand, the beast, all that stuff, since it doesn't matter, I kind of forgive it a lot more. I thought that Sigourney Weaver was acting the fuck out of that character. Now, the character itself, actually, like, even in present times, was written really well. The character backstory was so stupid, it kind of killed some of that great writing. And... I liked a lot of the other people that were part of the hand. I just hated that was the hand. That made no sense. And I mean, Madame Gao is just one of the best villains in the history of on-screen Marvel adaptations.
All right. So is that are we
Yeah, that's a 1 for me. Kevo, what do you got?
I'm gonna say mid. There were some. It was really cool to see some of these characters playing off of each other. I love crossovers, but a lot of wasted potential too. So
Their hallway fight scene walked so that Guardians hallway shoot 'em up could run. That's all I'm
fair.
saying.
All right. And that brings us to the Punisher. For the Punisher, I'm going to give it a neutral. A lot of it didn't work, but the fact that there is no, my dick is so colossal, I will cuck you if you come for my wife. And the Punisher is like, dude, I kill people for fun. Who cares about a penis? Was the most surreal thing to ever make it into something owned by Disney as a company. So I can't give it a negative. The surreality, it gets a zoop.
Nah.
Big fat negativo for me. Hate this character. Only like him when the right work is being done to deal with him. That's really only happened once apparently. And John Bernthal, great actor, great casting if you have to cast somebody as Frank Castle, but like he is a bit Rogan-esque in his extracurricular activities, and I'm counting that in the rubric. So that's a thumbs down for me.
Kevo.
I thought I said thumbs down. Yeah, thumbs down.
Thumbs down. So that's 2 thumbs down for the Punisher.
All right.
That makes the winner of all things Netflix, Daredevil. All right, let's click on over to the next category. I believe that's Kevo with the board. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the Phase 4 TV shows. Right now, this is kind of the last one that can actually have opinions, and everything after this is just conjecture.
Kind of anticipation or not.
So let's take a look at Phase 4 in its many splendid forms. Now, everybody has already weighed in a little bit on their feelings on WandaVision, which, of course, kicked off the Phase 4 experience. From there, we have Falcon and Winter Soldier, where Anthony Mackie's chest is everything. We have Loki season 1.
Sebastian Stan's face.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, and I kill Nazis. Yeah. I hate Nazis, but also I love to blow things up, so I will forever be problematic. Oh, God. Baron Zemo, love of my life. God, I hate myself. Okay.
Meh.
Loki, where Tom Hiddleston showed off the most unbelievable trend out body I've ever seen. Good job, buddy. We have What If season 1, which I'm already going to say, sure. We have the amazing Hawkeye season 1. We have the incredible Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And I'm pretty excited to weigh in on these.
Yeah, this is where we get a little spicy. This is, if nothing else, this is where we've got like the MCU now. So that, for all its weight, positive or negative, is pretty exciting.
Let's jump in.
All right,
Hawkeye, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Nothing to really be bothered by here.
Yeah.
It's a thumbs up for me, too. This was a good show.
And you guys can check out all of our discussion about this and our lead up to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which, of course, had the amazing Galactic. Loki season 1, I don't have 2-time variance authority jackets for no reason. Big thumbs up. Wish I had 2 thumbs.
Yeah.
This is probably my number 2 choice.
Not about 2 thumbs up, but definitely a thumb up.
It's a neutral for me.
Okay.
I don't know. It didn't grip me. It just didn't.
Well, from there, that brings us to Moon Knight, which I kind of I love a lot of what it gave us, but I wish it could have been done in half as much time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long, so question mark.
Oh wow, that's three. That's
Yeah,
three womps.
that ain't moving.
Ms. Marvel, 3 big all and up. I think we can all just sort of say click
Yeah.
clack that rack all the way to the tap.
Yep. I think this was really special. I think I get excited seeing, especially high school shows that show me a life that is not recognizable to me as anything near my own. And the life of a young Muslim girl from, Gen Z, that's pretty cool. Like, not enough people who can pay for Disney Plus know what that life is like. And that the collaborators got to really put themselves into it. I think that matters so much and is a huge value of this show that kind of goes unspoken. But we should be excited to see things that we don't recognize ourselves in, because that's how we learn and grow.
And Marvels.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Again, probably my number 2. Because tied for number 2. Wish I had more thumbs.
Yeah.
Yep. This is a 2-thumber, 3-thumber for me. Kevo, your thumbs up on this, yeah?
Yeah, funny, action-packed, drama, but not too much drama.
We love to see it.
Check out our amazing episode on Daredevil appearing in She-Hulk.
Yes.
Oh, did we do them all?
Nope. No. Falcon Winter Soldier's next.
Oh, middle.
Middle.
No real
Sure.
vote.
Might as well.
This is like, I'm gonna leave it because it's also important. And again, Anthony Mackie being the star, that really matters. It says a lot of stuff about how racism and systemic racism in America can and should be represented and play into the politics of comic books and comic book superhero storytelling. But that can't save it from the problems and the fact that it's boring and the fact that it's character assassination in 2 different directions at the same time somehow for Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, bizarre.
How did you do that? She's both lame and also a terrible villain?
It'll be great if she's a Skrull.
Yeah, there you go.
So it looks like we got Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk.
No, hold on, we're not done. We got WandaVision and What If.
Oh,
This is a big
WandaVision.
one.
It is. We gotta move, guys. So WandaVision, big thumb up.
Yeah. Thumbs up and thumbs down on the last 2.
All right, WandaVision, we'll give it the 3. And thumbs down for Kevo on What If.
Yeah.
Mid.
Yeah, no real care zone. Unfortunately, love the idea of a Marvel animated canon series, but it just falls short of what I needed.
That's fair. For me, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was smart to make it animated, and I had fun.
It's not living up to what I want, though.
Now, do we want to each have 1 point to give to our 4-way tie to break it, or do we just want to keep going?
No, I think that's fair. I think 1 point each to the 4-way tie to break it. Real
Okay.
quick. That's really fair. If I'm giving 1 point to something in this, I gotta say She-Hulk's gonna edge everything out for me. My 1 point goes to She-Hulk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Really, Kevo, I know earlier you said your point goes to WandaVision, so if you wanted to go to WandaVision, it could, and She-Hulk would not be mad at you or beat you up.
I don't know. I just want to keep things moving.
Okay, well,
I am naming She-Hulk the winner. I'm
but give that
saying
extra point to WandaVision too.
Yeah, I'm giving WandaVision Kevy's point, and I'm gonna give my point to She-Hulk, even though I did love Ms. Marvel. I love that comedy, man. Give me the comedy.
And I'll split my point halfsy so that this way, it's not a. But anyway, okay.
What do we got next?
Phase 5.
Yep. That's hilarious.
Check it out. Alley Galactic back in the space house.
Hello.
We started as a humble X-Men podcast and a Marvel Cinematic Universe coverage podcast, and we have become so much more. We have a game show debuting at FlameCon Saturday, the of August, which we will be streaming, hopefully. A lot of big things going on. Can't wait. And Allie has been with us since the beginning, and can't be grateful enough for the amazing people who have been there since day one. As the incredible RuPaul would say, new friends silver, old friends gold. I think that makes Allie Galactic platinum. So we have Secret Invasion, which is a big one for us, right? We covered it all episode. We have Loki season 2, probably my most anticipated thing from this upcoming phase. Next up, we have Echo, whom I can't wait for. I love her so much. We have the incredible Ironheart, which features my goddess, Shea Coulee, so can't even breathe. We have Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Catherine Hahn plays my literal favorite television character of all time. In Jen Barkley, actual favorite television character of all time.
Solid choice.
Daredevil Born Again. Obviously, Tori Sheehan and I are like crying ourselves to sleep at night. Is that What If season 2? As long as they get more Agent Carter, I could live.
So because everything but Secret Invasion is more, are we hyped or not? Shall we say that our Secret Invasion score is, were we hyped prior to seeing it?
Okay.
Yeah, mad hyped. So I can still remember, even though that I'm kind of like, if you ask me right now, I'd go more. But if you ask me 3 months ago, I'd go more.
Oh no, I remember because we did Secret Invasion. I mean, we were covering that comic.
Secret Locomania.
We were trying to decide if we were covering the actual event, and would it reference it at all?
I'm trying to find. So Allie Galactic just asked, did they say that Deborah Ann Woll won't be back again in Born Again?
They did.
They did, and I don't know why they've made that choice. Because the other thing is, some other people are saying chill on freaking out about what they are confirming who and who won't be back. Some people are saying chill on that because not everything has been decided.
Yeah.
Karen has not been recast.
Yeah.
There's just currently no decision on Karen.
Yeah.
So at the moment, Deborah Ann Woll will not be back. But that is not to say that she is kicked out as Karen. The story that they're telling at the moment doesn't involve Karen.
And we just, this is a weird one. This is that we're doing half-hour episodes and there's going to be 18. This is the first start for a long journey for Daredevil. So we're all just kind of waiting with bated breath. Much like I am about Agatha Coven of Chaos. I could not possibly be more excited about a show. That Patti LuPone is not just like, yeah, I showed up for work, but is like, this is television.
I love Patti LuPone as much as I love Jean Grey, and that Patti LuPone is like, this is real work, not just the stuff I do with Ryan Murphy, has me moved to tears.
Yeah.
What I'm loving about her addition to the Marvel Universe, though, is what absolute candor she has for everything she does.
Yeah.
And, like, if you go back, you can see that when she was appearing in Broadway's War Paint with Christine Ebersol, she absolutely months in advance spoiled for fans that Christine Ebersol was doing the voice of White.
Yep.
But nobody noticed because no one really cares about Broadway gossip. But she absolutely, to someone on the at stage door, was like, "Oh yeah, Christine's gonna be on Steven Universe."
Anybody who
she's doing this for Agatha now, being like, "Oh yeah, this giant spoiler for Agatha."
Anybody who needs
who's gonna stop her?
A little piece of like Steven Universe that they didn't know was beautiful. War Paint. Kevo and I were lucky enough to sit like 8th row or something. We sat phenomenally well for War Paint. It was 8th row balcony. Was that? I mean, 8th row mezzanine. Ugh.
Yeah, no balcony.
Wait. Oh my god.
Yeah. Right. No, it was good.
I mean, I've seen Patti LuPone in
Universe part of this.
Christine Ebersol. It's White Diamond and
no, I know, but I thought you were saying that there is like a.
No, it's just an amazing thing where you get to see two of the Diamonds in a musical together where they represent humongous feminist icons, Helena Rubinstein. So if you've ever seen Sesame Street and they say, brought to you by the Helena Rubinstein Foundation, Helena Rubinstein.
Yes.
It's a big deal. Yes. Anyway.
Elizabeth Arden.
And Elizabeth Arden. And Pink. Daredevil Born Again. I I can only so high to the
I
sky.
almost want Kevo to not give it a thumbs up with me just to fuck with you. That face forever. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the half-hour format that it's getting, the possible light-hearteder tone, the smidge of a preview that we got for what this could be in Matt's appearance in She-Hulk. This has all the makings of finding some joy and humor in a property that is both way too serious a lot of the time and way too silly in concept a lot of the time. So I just think it has so much going for it.
Kevo.
No, I'm not gonna mess with you. Thumbs up, for sure.
Thumbs up for Echo. I hate all the negative press it's getting, but I hope that that's just, hateful of a incredible woman of color, hateful of people with disabilities, media that has just absolutely no room for understanding or tolerance. I hope that it's just that the world sucks and not that Echo sucks too. So big thumbs up. Allie, yes.
Yeah, I'm hyped to see something different. I have a lot of doubts. The thumbs up is because we do not get a disabled woman of color headlining a superhero show ever, let alone often, and that deserves to be celebrated. But they're not doing a lot to take care of this show, and I can't help but deny that ultimately affects the quality of my hype. You a thumbs up, Kevo?
Yeah, I want to believe. I do. I do believe in fairies. I do believe in the Phoenix.
And the great news, Talir, is that if Echo sees someone knock it out of the park, she's going to be able to knock it out of the park just as well.
Echo's seen plenty of successful shows, so.
That was a killer joke. Ironheart, Shea Coulee's in it, so give it up to God for this one. 75 thumbs.
Yep, it's a thumbs up for me.
I'm hopeful. We're so optimistic.
Loki season 2. I'm kind of hoping somebody will go a half thumb with me on this one. As much as it means to me, I'm just unsure.
I'll take that half. Because I get that. New showrunner, no real direction for the future of the series and its interaction with everything.
No
Confusing.
original intention that it would happen in the first place.
Yeah, confusing.
Yeah, I will let you guys have the one thumb and continue with my none thumb. I don't hate it. I just don't love it.
Secret Invasion.
I know you were hyped. I know
I was
you're
mad
a
hyped.
thumbs up for that. Kevo, what about you?
I was definitely mid. I
Yeah.
was pretty concerned. I think, funny enough, that it at least met my middling expectations. It didn't let me down further than
I
I
feel
was nervous. So that's really good.
Yeah, I think I was also mid. I think this is getting a 1. I'm trying to remember. I really don't think, Nico, ultimately you were able to get me on the train with you for this one.
Punisher, Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
Night of
you
Hunters.
knocked it out of the park with me on a lot of stuff. I think this simply was one, especially because we got that mini that just did not have a lot of promise.
What if season 2? Honestly, thumbs down for me. I really want a different animated project, not more of an animated project that I just wasn't sure about. Who knows when it's even coming out? Thank you, Kevo, for
My
let's go with.
pantomime.
I was going to say Walt Disney World theme park attraction levels of pantomime, but just not going to get my thumbs up. This is not the Go-Go Boy I came to the club for.
He's my go-go boy. I'll take him.
All right. My Go-Go Boy is going to come on in just a little bit, so I'm pretty excited.
Kevo, which direction are we ending this with? Down or up?
What if I already said down? I thought that was my panto.
It's like
okay.
It's Nick Hexum before the crazy body levels of down.
All
Further
right,
down than Nico.
break our 4-way tie again.
Oh, my.
Yours
I
is
feel bad.
Daredevil.
Sorry, Shay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jen Barclay, but it's my favorite. Like, I was literally born
Yeah.
during part 5 of Born Again. I
It's
am
the
Matt
one-
Murdock coming back from the ocean.
It's the one that has best proof of concept, I think, so far of all of them. I think the other ones
you
have
are
most
for
to
Born
prove.
Again as well, Kevo?
Yeah.
All right. Mine's Covenant Chaos. I really respect where y'all are coming from. I just love the magic stuff.
Can you just do me a favor? Can you just give one more to What If? Because Ali Galactic just really wants to see it thrive. So I would love to give it the extra
Allie,
point.
you and I are on the same page. I completely agree. So yeah, we'll put this in neutral category.
Absolutely.
And we'll love it together with all these haters surrounding us.
I want
right.
it to be good. I want
Now-
to believe.
Phase 6, where we have a board for a phase that can't even exist yet. No one's allowed to work on any of this. But
And
this
never
is-
will be again.
I can't wait for the World of Wakanda show because so few series show such potential as World of Wakanda. What a beautiful, beautiful image cobbled together from Kevo's own designed logo and
I
this
made that.
incredible poster.
Because there's no real logo yet, so I made that.
Damn,
so I'm very proud of
Kevo.
it. And it matched this poster so well. So yeah, we want it. Bring it. Hello.
M'Baku, Wilson Duke, just whatever you want to
Yeah.
do with me, bro. Can
Yeah,
we just,
you're the
like,
perfect
smoke?
man.
Winston.
Can we smoke weed and then work out together? That would be like the best day of my life.
Yeah.
And talk about Modern Family.
Yeah, Spider-Man freshman year, the cartoon I am most excited about on this planet. Nico and
Look at that
Doc Ock,
Daria character design.
everything
I
about
know,
this.
Jane Lane over here.
This is, and it's meant to be the freshman year of MCU Spider-Man. That is what they're claiming.
Oh, like so before he was in Civil War.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
They're claiming it is vaguely canon.
I like
imagine-
vaguely canon.
Offshoot timeline that is generally the same universe,
Yeah.
but a divergence.
And
Right.
Marvel felt so confident on it, they already greenlit sophomore year, which is in production at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah, that I did know. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Spider-Man animated show. Anyway,
Unless Maker is
got
the
this.
villain. I just don't care about Marvel Zombies. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wonder Man, you got my
Man.
heart, man. Simon Williams, keep going. I'm trying to
What
stop
if season
myself from
3?
stopping.
yeah.
What if season 3? Nova. I'm so
Nova.
excited. And
Kevin, where's that logo from? And then Vision
that's
Quest?
actually that's my doing. That's the Sam Ryder Nova logo.
It's on IMDb.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, and then Vision Quest.
And then Vision Quest.
Yeah.
No
All
logo
right.
for you.
No
Just
logo
white
for
face.
you. Just Paul Bettany being albino.
White.
So
White.
I got you.
Let's-
Gotcha.
Marvel Zombies, no, I have no opinion. If Maker's the bad guy, maybe. If you give me a compelling hero, maybe, but no real opinion.
Thumbs down on zombies for me.
Was that a neutro for you, Nico?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I am thumbs down. I'm sick of zombies. I'm just not hyped for it, and that's what this is. That's what the challenge is here.
I am psyched to shit for Nova. There are few things that make me as excited as a magical piece of like architecture or a magical piece of like ancillary gadgetry.
Equipment.
Like the Nova helmet is one of the most perfect things ever come up with in all of comic books ever. And I really believe in a Nova project. Biggest thumbs up I can give to a live action project on this board.
I tell you what, it was a no for me, dog, until I read as Guardians of the Galaxy, and that one character gets a Nova helmet kind of out of nowhere. And doesn't go full Nova Corps or anything, but it's just like getting just enough help from it that they can survive a little bit better. And I was like, I could see how this would be really good. So yeah, it's a thumbs up for me. Kevo?
Big.
Sure. I think it has potential.
3 for Nova. Okay.
Freshman year, 3.
Not
Oh,
3.
you know what? Ali Galactic. So I don't really say this much, but the Jeff Loeb run of Nova, that's the one to check out. I also do love pansexual space god Dick Ryder Nova. He's pretty cool.
You also can just not do Nova and read the character in X-Men Red, and I feel like you will
Yes.
have what's that?
Yes.
And you'll have a character that's really cool to love, like, you know, that who goes hot tubbing with his helmet on, with Sunspot, staring at alien dicks or Akari dicks. That's just such a good moment. Anyway, I am a 0 for Spider-Man. I don't care about another Spider-Man cartoon. I get why financially it's a brilliant choice, but
Kevy,
if you
did you just mid this, Kevy?
Yeah, I feel similarly to it the way that I do about What If in terms of it's canon, but not really. You know, Charlie Cox is going to be playing Daredevil, which makes me hope that there will be other, if not Marvel, then perhaps cool celebrity voices. But yeah,
Yeah, that animation makes me excited to see the first episode, but I just can't describe myself as hyped for it. You know, I hope it's great. I hope everybody's really happy. I hope kids are happy.
I hope I hear things that impress me and draw me in.
Yeah, for sure. Vision Quest.
Big thumbs up, because if it's handled with the same emotional dexterity that was given to Wanda Quest, gotta go.
Quest, yes.
WandaVision.
That's the
I almost
third
said Vision Wanda. Gotta catch that. Chic. If it's given the same attention, even if it's from a different creative team, I could be really positive on it. So I'm gonna go in very, very thumbs up.
I'm gonna say mid because I feel very similarly, but I who's going to balance Paul Bettany in this? Because WandaVision was great because it had both. So then who is going to be either the balance or secondary to Paul Bettany the way that Vision was Wanda's Ken in WandaVision?
Isn't Paul Bettany married to some amazing real life
Jennifer
lady?
Connelly.
Yeah, okay. So it can't be Jennifer Connelly. Scratch that.
Jennifer Connelly for Jocasta. I think I might be mid on this too. The biggest problem, Paul Bettany is like 60. I don't know that he can do this much longer. And I don't know if getting hype for this is just going to set me up for disappointment. I'm not convinced that the entire argument about AI is, can we scan Paul Bettany in time to have him be the Vision from there on out, because we don't have a lot of options with this man getting close to retirement.
And as Ali Galactic points out, we don't necessarily want a Vision quest just to watch them kill off Vision again.
Yeah.
That's not... Stop doing that. Stop it.
What I want is the Vision comic adapted to television, and that's like a quarter what WandaVision is, so they're not going to do that again. So yeah, I'm mid on this too. That's a +1 from Nico, 0 and 0 from me and Kevo. Okay.
I appreciate your vote, Talir. My concern with Vision Quest is that it's happening so far out from Wanda stuff and Endgame stuff.
Yeah.
That's a danger in visual media. It can feel too far away. We call it the Jason Aaron Thor syndrome, right?
Especially for fandom stakeholding.
So I'm just going to vote my next three real quick. -, 0, 1.
Okay. I think that's mine as well. I voted plus for the other what ifs. Season 3, you're not going to get me hyped that far in advance if you can't show me my season 2 first and let me know, do you have it or not?
Yeah.
So that's, for me, that's a negative. Kevo, same?
Yeah, I think I'm the same across the board.
Okay.
I really thought this would be a 25-minute game, but it's turned out to be a 45-minute game. And the cutest boy in all of Philadelphia has been sitting in the back room like an episode of Abbott Elementary, held back from some sort of hiatus. So I'm really
his
glad.
Cute face, though.
That has been pretty nice, right? We get to look at Jonah's face. So all right, everything won in phase 4 and 5, so there's just no splitting that tie. But here's what I do want to say. I understand that Disney has seen some financial flops in the last couple of months, and I understand that many people feel that Disney Plus isn't delivering on the content. But when you think about what you're paying per month for Disney Plus, and you think about how many shows that has to cover the paycheck for, maybe it is spectacular. but maybe free television has given us some really reasonable expectations of what can be provided for us. The arts are something that should be provided for. It would be great if the US government decided to do a BBC esque channel, but it was streaming and we saw some really cool subsidized art. I would love that, but I don't see it happening anytime soon because the US government cares about our needs about as much as it cares about minorities. So I don't see any care being provided there anytime soon. And to that end, I just want to say that I think the MCU is actually still on a really cool projection course. While I think so many of us are so different, right? I think we can all agree on certain truths of life that, like, we all have a lady boogeyman. We all have that old woman who frightens us. And that, I brought her up earlier with Cassandra Nova. And for me, it's Rita Moreno because, like, I'm a Latin man and I think she's incredible. But, like, your Cassandra Nova could just as easily be, as TK said earlier, Helen Mirren, or you could maybe see, I don't know, Michelle Yeoh as playing an incredible Cassandra Nova, whether you are of Asian descent or not. I think one of the things that the MCU is doing is it's diversifying the quality of its portfolio. That always shows growing pains. I know that parts of me grew at uneven rates, but like I'm pretty happy overall with the fact that both my arms came out even and so did my legs. You just have to give it time because for a minute there, the wingspan was weird, right? And I feel like the MCU is just going through a weird wingspan. I did not think Thor Love and Thunder was perfect, even if Chris Hemsworth literally defied shape. I think that it got Jane pretty right, but it really messed up Gore, which is a disaster. So, all said and done, and I use that just as an example of a film if these TV shows are a little too long for you, but I loved our exploration of Marvel TV. Guys, on the whole, how are you feeling about Marvel TV as we roll into this break?
Unlimited potential. My concern right now is, of course, the writer's strike. The other really big thing about these streaming
We are a
shows,
strike show.
We are a strike show. The other really big thing about these streaming shows is they pay basically all of the actors, but most especially everybody who is not, the headliner, pennies, nothing. Watching Ali says, and then Guardians 3 came along and reminded everyone why this stuff rocks. 100% true.
If I can, real quick before I forget.
Yeah.
The other person that is an acceptable Cassandra Nova, Shirley Manson. Please continue.
Brilliant choice. And then Professor Xavier at around the same age would be fantastic.
Still played by what's his unbelievable musculars in...
No, I'm done with him. We're done. He's out. We're done. We're moving on. New person. No James McAvoy. We're done. Keep him turning around here. Streaming is not paying, and I want to make sure everybody gets paid. I would much rather see fewer shows pay the same amount or more and know that the actors are paid a living wage, survivable wage, and know that the writers are as well, that the crew is. So for me, that's my biggest concern. I have no concern that Marvel can't turn it out. I know some of the shows I'm not going to love, and I know some of them I'm going to think are amazing, and some I'm going to think are just mid. But if I know everybody's getting paid and good faith efforts are being made to develop this entire universe, I'll survive not liking everything. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, and I really feel Ali Galactic's point of I never feel like I'm not getting good stuff from it. I don't always 100% full steam ecstatic love every single thing that comes out of the MCU. But it's like we were saying yesterday on our Haunted Mansion broadcast, that thing that I'm really feeling of not everything is going to be the greatest thing you ever saw. Some things can just be enjoyable. And it's part of this huge, wider universe. The more we add to it, the less the chances are every single part of it can be the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life. But was it worth the amount of effort that was put into creating it? Usually, to a pretty good amount.
That's a really great point, Cabo. The value of what you put in versus what you get out. Thank you for reminding me of that, because something we talk about a lot is like dollar value. Are you getting what you paid for? But also kind of sort of, I have Disney stock. I'm like, I kind of want Disney to give me as a stockholder what I pay for.
Yeah.
And like, maybe that's privilege, but that's also like the reality of corporate entities creating media. Anyway, we're going to come back after this break with a guy who makes my Marvel Snap. And I'm pretty excited about that. He's a co-creator of the show, and it's going to be an amazing time. And we're going to talk about, oh my God, did I have an amazing time with Drag Race Down Under. We're going to talk about a number of other amazing reality shows, including the most emotional Project Runway since Jeffrey Sibilia attacked someone's mom.
Commercial time, please.
Since last week when everyone was super drunk. Sure.
Wait, since a twin had a psychological breakdown. I just can't do
Yes, I measured a pair of pants.
Kevy, save me from doing impressions of Claire, please.
And save us from it, too.
I think I will.
I want to talk about some bigger characters too here.
All right.
I'm really excited to do this. We've been playing a game, bracketeering, where it's basically, what if we take a March Madness bracket and we go a little wacky with it, right? We have a little bit of fun. And the reason it's a little wacky is because at the end of a March Madness bracket, you still have basketball player versus basketball player. At the end of a bracketeering bracket, I'm just going to keep using that same example.
It's the best example.
It wound up the cast of Modern Family versus Batman. So it, you sometimes wind up with
just absolute nonsense, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
And
man, I haven't seen these screen caps for a long while. Like, I forgot how cool Ghost Rider looks back in the day.
We've got some good art in this, and yeah, a lot of it really took me back.
And so we came up with a list of characters who have never had their own formal animated series. They have had appearances on stuff, and I learned my lesson a little bit on what counts as an animated series. Listen to me well. Motion comics, you are not animated.
You're not an animated series. That's why we call you motion comics and not animated comics.
Anyway, I lost that battle. So I changed a couple of things at the last second. But we have some really cool matchups. We're going to talk about some really cool characters if you're game for it, Jason.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, then let's kick it off with two of our favorite characters in the entire world. Neither Daredevil nor Ghost Rider have ever had a proper animated series. Daredevil being my fave boy, and Ghost Rider being like TK's fave guy out of nowhere.
Suddenly, now that's a thing. I don't know how that happened.
Jason, where do you stand on the Devils?
I'd probably go. I mean, if we're going for like a,
I want. If you thought you couldn't tell who was who when we were dealing with Skrulls, shapeshifters, and magic, hang on to your patties, sweeties, because we are bracing for a world where illusion, Michael, is the name of the game. we are of course bracing for what I pissed my pants with joy enjoying my first ever international drag race, and I could not have enjoyed it without the incredibly handsome gentleman to my side and the gentleman below me. Of course, that is TK, who pushed me into the franchise with Kevo, who has watched every single second of it with me, enjoying every moment just as much, if not more than me. But of course, Philadelphia's sexiest man, and that is, of course, Jonah.
Hi, everyone. I don't know. That was a big title to be Philadelphia's sexiest man, so.
The hair works for me. So where can everybody find you on the
you or
interweb?
Gritty.
God, Gritty's got it going on.
Gritty's got it going on, and we don't have the rights. Hi, you can follow me over on the Bluebird Elon app and Instagram at Peak Jonah. That's PEAK.
It's still Twitter. Everyone's still calling it Twitter. I keep saying Twitter, known to Elon Musk as X.
Bird app. That one.
Bird app.
So I want to say, first and foremost, 2 of our 3, at this point, most watched episodes are Drag Race centric, right? I don't know if people love our hot takes on Drag Race or if it's just really that people can't get enough of random takes on Drag Race, but there is such a wealth of Drag Race material out there, and it's such a great feeling to be part of that discussion, right? And that it seems like so many people come back to us for Drag Race has really made me feel like I'm part of a conversation. And that conversation has focused on folks like Mistress, Anitra, the incredible, and I feel bad, like I came way too hard at her during the season because it turns out so many people are so much more horrible than Lux. But I just want to say, Lux Noir London, I still think you get like a C- for congeniality, but girl, your fashion, I should have been way nicer to you at the time. So I just want to put that out there.
I mean,
And
it's giving fashion.
It's giving fashion. At the time, I literally said nothing could beat that, and then Goddess happened. Couldn't have known. And of course, the Goddess herself, the woman who, I don't know, it is not her job to be the spokeswoman for all beautiful trans women on Earth, but Sasha Colby has decided she is going to be there for you, whether or not you need her. She's just ready. And that's a gift. She is literally the equivalent of the fairy godmother in the Disney parks for all queers everywhere. And then Candy Muse, the person I hated the most on the planet Earth at one point, who I swear, man, I wish you were on a different competition than against Jimbo, because God damn it, you deserved to win that crown. Candy Muse and Jimbo, like my person of the year, Jimbo. So we are here to talk about Drag Race Down Under, and in that time Kevo and I have digested 5 through 15 and All Stars 2 through 8. And my question to you, Kevo, and then to these stunning examples of drag race queer fandom, how do you guys feel going into this? What does feel a little bit like the low budget independent sequel? I mean, I'm here for it. I thought this was a celebration of what makes drag excellent, but it did feel a little bit like watching an awkward cousin. Kevo, how did you feel tuning into our first ever international drag race with Drag Race Down Under Season 3, Episode 1?
It was interesting. I hear what you're saying about feeling that it's a little well, I mean, it's only on its 3rd season, so you get what's been put into it so far. It's not going to be the same as the show that's on season 15 for the main and 8 for the All Stars. It was most interesting to me what things remained the same from all of this as opposed to what things were changed. I mean, this is just kind of a slightly cleaner version of the workroom that we're used to. But I'm down. It's nice to have some content back for sure. Whoever wants to go next.
So I watched Down Under season 1. There were people on there that I actually was familiar with. I knew who Art Simone was. Art Simone is a very big makeup artist in the drag world, so I was very well aware of who Art Simone was. I was also aware of who Karen from Finance was. A lot of people who are fans of Trixie and Katya know that they were obsessed with Karen from Finance because it's a very funny drag name. The idea of a queen just Karen from Finance, it's objectively, I think, a very funny
Love it.
name. So people had a lot of expectations going into this, and it seems like we often have that a high expectation, especially because the first international season that I think a lot more of the mainstream audience, not the first international season in general, of UK season 1 was a masterclass of showing off the culture, showing off these queens, showing off the ability of these people that they cast, that we had high hopes for Australia. And it's very unfortunate that the first season isn't that good, in my opinion, because of a lot of really weird production choices that really sully a lot of the experience of Drag Race, and it's just full of a lot excused racism, among other
Well,
things, and
just
it's just
to, I want to just highlight what you're saying in a positive way. You've also said that to me of All Star season 1, and in many ways of seasons 1 through 3, and even borderline season 4. So even the best series of Drag Race, the two, I would say, pinnacle series, both suffer from that same identity issue. So it's certainly not a knock against Down Under. So I really hear what you're saying, not as an attack, but as a recognition of growth of program.
and I say this, spoilers for people who might not have watched it. The season 1 winner, Kid Amin. She's a queen I really enjoy, and I feel bad for her because the optics of that season, people are like she was the default winner. She doesn't really get a lot of props for how talented she actually is because this season was so sullied for so many people that I
Was it
really
like a
feel
the
bad
Viv
for her.
situation?
What?
Was it like a the Viv situation?
No, it's the way the season went down. So, someone is brought back, but they're not really explained why they're brought back. There isn't even like a production kind of thing of like we the judges thought this person deserved a chance. The person is just back. There's somebody there who has a racist past and is still was kind of racist on the show and like was like doing racist things in their acts up until they were cast in the show and the production knew, and it was just really weird optics. And I feel bad, but like Karen from Finance was kind of dragged to the end. Not really her fault that she was dragged, but you don't really get a choice in that when you're a contestant. So it was just a really weird optics, really weird that was like, well, the default winner has to be Kid Amin because you can't crown the other three.
Mm-hmm.
So go, and I have not watched Down Under 2. I do know who wins. I was well aware of, from my understanding, from the general consensus, is the winner has charisma up the wazoo. Might not have had the best looks at the
Might
time.
not have the best uniqueness, but
Um,
tons of, I forget what N stands for, neato-ness. Nerve, thank you.
Nerve.
Neato-ness.
and
And
talent. Throw that
hypertension.
one in there too. But season 3, I was like, okay, let's just kind of give it a fresh start. Let's just go with this with new eyes. Let's try to not pretend that any of it didn't happen, but just acknowledge, okay, this is a new cast of queens. Let's just treat them like that.
Now, TK, have you seen Down Under 2 or 1? Or, do you have as much familiarity with the international seasons as I know Jonah does?
What is your undergrad?
What is your underdrag?
Nice.
My underdrag covers a wide variety of regions. I have watched all of Australia, all UK, a bunch of Thailand, a bunch of the other international ones. I'm a very slow reader, so subtitles get the best of me a bit more often than I'd like to admit on a live broadcasting show. But they do. So sometimes I will like watch them a little bit, get overwhelmed by the subtitles, and peace out. So, I'm very familiar with the American ones. Drag Race Thailand, we are going to watch it at some point because it is such an experience and you guys really must see it because it is...
They are crazy over there.
They are wild over there in the best
Crazy
possible
talented.
ways.
Crazy
Yeah, just
talented.
insanely talented. Do you know, Nico or Kevo, do you know about gollywog dolls or like the racist tropes of Australia?
I do have some familiarity with both the nature of the racist tropes of Australia and the complicated relationship between both the Australian and Aboriginal people and the New Zealand, Kiwi, and Maori people. As a result of being a part of the Disney International College Program and Disney College Program environment, I was given the opportunity to learn about so many cultures firsthand from people who were willing to share their world with us. And my year on Main Street USA, which was probably like the summer of my life, into the October that, cemented Kevin and I as like a Mickey and Minnie-esque couple. The experience there was so filled and emphasized with Australian and New Zealand culture. It was a humongous part of that part of my life. And I actually had multiple Australian or New Zealand Kiwi people in my wedding party. It was a truly remarkable experience to get to understand that culture and to have explained to me so many things that were sort of common cultural parallels between the American experience and the Australian experience. But it turns out that all Australians are New York fashion chic, but like Southern body hot. And that's just unbelievable. But to have the nature of the complicated relationship that the Australian and Aboriginal and the Maori to New Zealand, although that was reverse respective order, that experience was explained to me, and it is a very complicated relationship.
Yeah, it is. The history of Aboriginal people in Australia and New Zealand, of Polynesian people throughout that entire region, is extremely complicated. Gollywogs are a little bit simple. They are blackface dolls that have been popular in Australia for such a long time that essentially Gen Z is really the first generation that didn't grow up with them. So like most millennials,
that was a term that was explained to me. The latter part of that term was explained to me to be the sort of oceanic equivalent of the N-word, and a term that I was taught to be fearful of for fear of offending anyone from the oceanic region with a dark complexion. And it was something that was made very clear to me that, like, you might not realize it, but that thing that we call the charge of the N-word, which I wish there was like a term that was like regional target of racist allegory, commonality that we could use that wasn't letter word, some sort of representation of this offense that exists in every language. But that term was taught to me as something to be very wary of. And it's something that I've then seen, like, okay, I spent a really good portion of my youth obsessed with, God, I can't believe I'm going to admit this on there. This is tough. I spent a good portion of my youth obsessed with the New Zealand drama McLeod's Daughters. I spent $150 a box set. It's what got me to watch Desperate Housewives. Like, McLeod's Daughters meant everything to me. Best soap opera to this day I've ever watched. So it's something that then when I reflected on my experience within the Australian and New Zealand communities, I could see the quality of that term as an offensive term within the world. And so I just really appreciate you helping me understand a little bit more how that might have affected RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, a show I can't believe I've come to be excited is going to drop another episode on Wednesday. Friday. Damn it. Now I'm bummed.
They've got these dolls that people still don't know are taboo, and multiple contestants have like photos on their Instagram of them with their childhood collection of these blackface dolls. They also, it turns out, like most of the contestants in season 1, there was an easily findable photo of them in some culturally appropriative outfit, be it Native American, various Asian identities, blackface.
Can we just call them all Iggy Azaleas? And
I mean, it really is very much that. So it was one of those things where like it's pervasive to a degree that they would have to just stop the show if they accepted the idea that like it might be difficult to find a queen who doesn't have a racist past, or at the very least a queen of color, white queen, not queens of color. It's kind of a different story for them, but you can see the effort that is being made to really vet the queens better, and to pay attention on the front end with casting when it comes to season 3. I don't know if, in this case, that just means telling everybody who gets past the first round, go scrub your Instagram tomorrow, and get rid of the cookie jars, Jack. But either way, it seems like, it was a pretty tentative season 2, and season 3 for me felt immediately that they were feeling much stronger about the casting. It was nice to see 2 Indigenous queens. It was nice to see other queens of color. It was really fantastic to see a Guatemalan queen.
Okay, stop.
I know.
Stop right now.
No. I'm going to say what I'm going to say first, and then you can drool about Floor.
Valentina V2.0? Look, I'm a strong man. I'm a dom top or whatever. When Valentina's in the conversation, I'm a sub simp bitch. And it's because Valentina literally is such a strong, powerful personality. You can't resist it. It's like a magnet. And
that's the power of crazy.
Oh God, she's so crazy. Oh God, I bet that
he has always been susceptible to crazy,
especially Latin boy crazy. But I'm telling you right now, Floor serves such insane Valentina energy down to I'd like to keep it on, please. In the episode, Floor was, literally the second she walked onto the screen, I screamed, I'm in love with her. I will do anything she wants. I'm a Cuban man. I can't resist it when a Latin lady tells me what to do. I'm weak. It's these cojones are for her. Floor for the rest of time. I am devastated by how much I love her in 20 minutes.
The great news is she is already a fantastic candidate. She came out the gate so strong. She has the kind of confidence that you really need to do well in Drag Race.
And that's what I'm reacting to. The confidence.
Yes. Could it be delusion? I think it's still too early to know for sure, but it seems like she's definitely got something. But
who isn't?
Exactly. The fact that she is a Guatemalan queen who emigrated to New Zealand, then emigrated to America, then chose to go back to New Zealand.
And did it with a story that is like literally the feminist manifesto. I left the man who was like, no, I'm moving to America. I'm just going to stay and make my home.
Mm-hmm.
Jonah, what do you got?
I was going to say, I think that she moved to New Zealand with her ex-partner, who then he moved to America, and she was like, no.
She didn't go. She
didn't go. She decided to stay.
That part. Yeah.
No. She said no.
But
no, a Floor.
No, La Floor.
I think that the reminder, especially for American audiences, that like people emigrate to places that aren't America, and whole countries interact in ways that don't involve us. I think is actually, a bit of a valuable lesson at times.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky you. You chose the right countries to stay away from.
Listen.
But, Floor for me also was the minute that I really started to see the division between I don't even want to say the filler queens, but the much less confident queens that you could see were going to stumble, and the queens that really showed up with the type of confidence that you need to carry through in the competition. And I think it is something that in later seasons of American Drag Race, they've really tried to obfuscate and play around with. You know, you get queens like Irene, who, for her confidence and style, you would have thought that it's not physically possible.
Irene Dubois, another person who could play Cassandra Nova.
Yeah.
No, honestly, Irene's playing Lalandra. She's playing an alien.
Yeah, 100%.
Or Irene
stuff,
for Moondragon.
just stuff in drag, stuff with a wig on. But you know, so on Drag Race America, I think they have to kind of feel the need to play around with us a little bit when it comes to who presents themselves right out the gate as a force to be reckoned with. And one of the things I always notice when watching international seasons is that there's a lot more comfort with being like, you can see who is maybe not the best. And there's no like, oh, we're all on equal footing until, you know, 3 or 4 episodes in. It's really like some girls come in with just a lack of polish and a lack of confidence that you can immediately see can't take them to the top.
You can taste fear. Now,
Yeah.
I feel very badly. I can't remember the name of the winner. Kevo, would you mind?
Hollywood Star. I have
Hollywood
the list
Star.
right up.
Thank you. I just want to say that Hollywood Star, from the moment she walked in, that was winner energy.
Yeah.
That was
Exactly.
Winner energy, winner package. That was winner.
And Ivory
vibe.
Glaze is the exact opposite. She is scared from the minute she walks in. She owns up to it. And, you know, in American Drag Race, when you have contestants like that, they'll edit around it so that it's a little more like, I'm shy and cute. But they're never constantly cutting to them being like, I was terrified and then I left the room because I was scared and I got scared of being scared, so I got a little more scared.
Ivory Glaze would have done amazing on MTV's Fear. You've had the hard challenges. I got possessed.
Something I want to note about Hollywood Star and Floor is, from my understanding, and please, the Australian people tend to be a little more blunt. Like, they don't tend to not really sugarcoat things.
No, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's blunt. It's a nature of vernacular that is more familiar and less designed for consideration.
Yeah, I think that's great. I absolutely what you said, I agree with. So like going into just the first when everybody's walking in, it's almost slightly a culture shock of, oh, they're not trying to play nice. They're already all being, from what the American's perspective is, mean, but they're just kind of being Australian, which I find funny. But something I thought about really watching Hollywood Star and Floor is that they're two people who kind of understand what their job is. For people who are fans of Give It To Me Straight, I want to quote something that Jasmine Kennedy said.
Can you just, what's Give It To Me Straight?
That's Maddie Morphous's talk show that Maddie Morphos interviews other queens. Yeah.
Oh, right. Thank you so much.
And Jasmine Kennedy from season 14 talked about how going into the show, understood the job that they were understood their assignment, understood what they were applying for and what they should be doing in terms of, you're making a reality television show, make it interesting. I look at Hollywood Star and Floor, and they understand the assignment. They're being the bitches, and I don't want to call them villains because obviously it's way too early, but they're filling in for the heel role.
They're creating the context that there is a depth to not just ability, but personality behind the ability. It's not that anybody can learn to do makeup, but a signature, that's special. And some signatures are rough. I really agree with you.
And I found it so fascinating that very early on, they're almost casting themselves as the heel, the bitch, the whatever, with the way that they're making comments. And I was like, this is very early to be talking like this. But I also want to specifically point out what they said to Ivory beforehand. I thought they were genuinely trying to be helpful.
Yeah, I thought they were just talking to her.
It was very blunt. You're right. It was very blunt, but that wasn't.
I'm sorry. It's no more blunt than I talked to the three of you at all. I didn't even think sorry about it.
I didn't even think it was that blunt. Not to say that Ivory can't have her feelings about however it was said. Maybe something more. There was more to it that we didn't see, or whatever tone, whatever.
It's a lot of tears for Safe.
Yes. but them saying, "Hey, you wrote a lot. Are you sure you're going to be able to get everything out in a way and then be able to perform that?"
What's
Oh, it's
your
like 10
brand?
words.
What
Do you
is
not
your?
count?
It was 2 bars.
I think of
It was a small town. It was 2 bars.
yeah, they did not give them a lot of there was a very short amount of verse for each queen. It
Yep.
was not a lot.
It was
Especially given that there were only 10 of them.
Yes.
it was
And
little boxes compared to MacArthur Park. This was just
Yes.
like disparaging.
But I think back to a critique on the season 14 roles that Dulcie Sloan said, and while she was applying it to comedy, I think it really applies it to here, economy of words.
Yeah.
You are not given a lot of time. There was literally like 5 lines in each verse for each queen. You were not given, it was a very short amount of time. They're not wrong in saying, hey, you wrote a lot, and it doesn't really seem to say a lot about your brand as a queen. You're introducing yourself to the judges. What is your brand?
Evidently, everyone's brand was making the judges grimace and
Oh, they were not pulling any punches with that.
No,
sir.
hold on. Who is the name of the judge that is clearly a Neil Gaiman?
Reese Nicholson.
Which we love Reese.
I am
Reese is the voice of reason.
I'm not even kidding one bit. Every time this incredible human spoke, I described them as a Neil Gaiman fairy character. They were lyrical. They were composed, entertaining, and down to the simple lisp. Like, God, what a personality. There's a joke that we reference from Modern Family more than any other joke, and it is Quran from the unbelievable Netflix adaptation of Voltron, which only ends poorly because Shiro doesn't get to be as gay as he should. But
the white lead from Our Flag Means Death.
Yes, which is what all of these images from this season are based on. Has a joke where he goes, "Who's got the waffles?" And like Reese clearly in the gay non-binary incredible bravery that they showcase in every episode, beautiful as they are, also kind of unfortunately my type. They, oh gosh, geez, Peter Pan syndrome, but they were the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Everything they said, unintentionally funny, intentionally funny. I was charmed, beginning to end.
Reese truly is like the light about Drag Race Down Under, like genuine.
You can see it every single minute. For
people who weren't familiar beforehand, was like the best thing about the show, and like gave actual honest critiques that made sense with what we saw. It felt like Reese was not under any influence of producer, because kind of oftentimes argued against RuPaul and Michelle of like, no, this is what I saw and this is, how it should be.
The anti-Carson.
Kind of.
The truck daughter, as
he's
it were.
The anti-Alan Carr, who is a UK judge, who I feel like is such the like gay best friend stooge of RuPaul and
He's
Michelle.
Such a puppet there, Charlie McCarthy.
Yes, and the other UK judge, the like Carson, is Graham Norton, and Graham Norton kind of does his own thing. He's very clearly just there to be Graham Norton. The investment isn't huge, and he's not there as much. Alan Carr is really there most episodes, and he is there to kind of do the whatever is needed for the judge to say on behalf of production. And Reese very much
British for production.
Yes.
Also, there's a lot of. It just feels like, I guess it's only 3 to my knowledge. There's like 3 pun names, and I felt like that was a lot. I felt like it was a lot of pun names, but it really wasn't.
Menu, Ivana drink.
I recently was part of a Bump of Love, and I just gotta say that is not an appropriate name for a TV show.
Actually, if you want to talk about an inappropriate name, I'm surprised they allowed a queen named Ashley Madison.
Agreed completely. What a poor taste choice.
I don't think you can name yourself after whatever you want. Sure, if you want to name yourself after that site, I'm not going to stop you. But I'm actually surprised that they allowed that, because there were other queens that, like, the one that comes to mind is Jan, who was previously Jan Sport. There was also there was a contestant on UK Drag Race. They did not do it because of production. Their original drag name was Crystal Beth, but they decided to change their name to just Crystal. But is Ashley Madison not trademarked? I'm just so
Hold
fascinated.
on.
Hold on. Ashley Madison is plausibly just a name.
Yeah.
I guess, and maybe you can't really trademark the name.
You can't trademark somebody's
A
personal
generic
name. And so, she couldn't. She's gonna have a ton of trouble if she tries to sell like a makeup line or something, or
Hold
do
on, though.
any
I'm
kind
back in 1997 on Crystal Beth.
Yeah, Crystal
Right,
Beth
that
was actually Crystal's a phenomenal contestant, but she
That's a
actually says that she
brilliant
changed
joke.
it. This is her line now.
Oh,
Go.
I was gonna say Crystal changed her name because she specifically was like, no, if I'm gonna be on TV, I want to have a name that can be utilized everywhere, can be seen.
Hey, Alaska.
And she didn't want to punch down. She specifically said she didn't want to make fun of addiction.
And then we later got Crystal Method on season 12. No shade to Crystal. It was
Method
very
doesn't
funny.
give a fuck.
Hey, you know what?
It was very funny.
Funny enough, I've reconnected with somebody I've mentioned on the show who is the person who got me into Project Runway, and their like third favorite queen of all time is Crystal Method, and I thought about maybe being nicer to Crystal Method as a result, and I decided I'll stop saying the jokes.
However, I would like to use this very brief moment. Is this my camera? I'd like to use this moment to talk about the queen.
That's
my
rude.
current.
It's not real.
It's not real. It's cardboard. Based off of entrance of everything so far in the first episode, I actually genuinely think Isis Avis Loren is going to win.
Okay.
They are my current pick to win. Something about the way they presented themselves, and I say this in a loving way. They are older at being 33, but you can tell that they are polished, experienced.
Was she the queen who said, anybody here who calls me grandma's gonna die?
I don't remember if that was her or Bumpa.
I was gonna say, I think that was Bumpa.
Oh, I do think that was Bumpa. Thank you. Great call.
But Isis is the one who walked in with that really stunning cat suit. And I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a winner. Similar to how I view a Hollywood Star as a winner. I see Isis as a winner.
And the 40-inch or possibly longer wig. It was very impressive.
Do they use inches?
What's that?
Do they use inches or centimeters?
No, they measure in straight up fucking power. Like the Australian people, they are so strong, and that is such a humongous part of the like reputation of Australia. Like it's a hardy folk, right? And I want to say that
because
the
entire land is trying to kill them. They measure in coconut crabs that are just the most frightening creatures on the planet.
It's literally Dark Tower Book 2.
Yeah.
I genuinely was ensorcelled. I thought this was the funniest, sweetest, strongest, most compassionate thing I've seen from Drag Race in a long time. This was a group of queens who want to see each other succeed, that when two black queens got to meet each other, their first response was, I can't believe we get to be black together. Not, shit, time to compete. No, immediately, time to hold each other up. That was such a beautiful moment in television, and it's the sort of thing that, like, we say, why won't people write in? And then writers say, oh, well, that's not realistic. Sorry about it. It's not just realistic. It literally happened. And this reminds me why I believe in the goodness of people. This reminds me why when I watched Sasha Colby walk into that workroom in TK's beautiful home, the first time I watched the premiere of season 15, it changed my life. I knew she was going to win. I could see it. I could see a world where we were better because Sasha Colby was going to dance in a Waffle House to Goddess. And that's how I felt watching this. I don't know these women. I don't know the needs of the Australian people, of the New Zealand people. But I could see these women want to be that for these people. That's what Drag Race gives me. That's the strength I draw from these women that reminds me every day that, you know, not to get political for 3 seconds, but do me a favor and Google just how many bans on drag have managed to pass the legislative requirements to become laws. And I'm not going to talk down to anybody, but there are so many requirements to become a law that you have no idea the amount of language it requires. So what's happening is bans, because nobody with any power is strong enough to stop a form of art that represents the beauty of a nature of people. So just keep doing what you're doing, whether it's in America or Australia. And that was why I cried watching this premiere, because it reminded me that not one of these drag bans will ever be able to become law, because you do not have the capacity to ban the beauty of art from any space. And yeah, that's how I felt watching this. I was reminded that America is stronger because Down Under has our backs. All right, other people.
And that was beautiful, and that was great. And through this episode, I realized that sometimes the editors are just really funny and hysterical. And that being
Hottest fucking boy I know following me up with the funniest thing in the world. Okay.
Gabriella Labucci, which one great name to say. I would love for her and Lucy LaDuca to go on the Lala tour, because LaDuca and Labucci very. Also the fact that RuPaul just says it.
Oh my god, with Lala Ree, and it could be the La 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 tour.
No, Lala Ree doesn't go on the tour. They have a VR booth called the Lala Ree Experience that you can do before the show.
When Gabriella Labucci walked in, they played the most hurdy-dirty music to her entrance, and it was the funniest thing in the entire world.
To be fair, her entrance line was, "It smells like fart in here."
And she hit some whoopee cushions. I mean, make an entrance. Make a statement. We're talking about it here, aren't we?
And then everybody literally said, "What the fuck?"
And then the fact that RuPaul loves to do their Godfather impression by Gabriella Labucci, with the most Italian accent in the entire world. It was just really funny. It was just one of those things where I had slight whiplash. And the other, it's so unfortunate that I phrase it this way, that Ashley Madison was the victim in the sense of the way that, because her stuff wasn't tight, we saw her chest, that she didn't wear pasties. She also, from what I could tell, didn't really contour here, which is something that a lot of people do to give the illusion of breasts. Didn't do that. I've seen that happen to other contestants where if they're wearing something similar to that, where it does come off, you can kind of see the chest, and they've never made a comment on it. But for some reason, they really picked Ashley.
I think they would not necessarily have done so, but she wore 2 strapless items. She was given the choice to do pasties. She also, for one of them, could have worn a breastplate. She's very clearly somebody who's comfortable in gown and costume style.
Oh no! I was just gonna say, especially from her entrance look, from what I can tell, she seems to like the slimmer.
Yeah, absolutely.
She wasn't padded. She was not padded, and that's fine.
Yeah. It is totally fine. But if you're gonna do a strapless, the whole point of a strapless is that you have a rack to wear, to hold up the strapless. And so, she could have worn even a small breastplate, and she would have had jewels to cover the neckline. She actually really could have sold one of her looks, and then I don't think she would have been in as much trouble. It was really the fact that she did 2 in a row. She put herself in positions where they were there, by physics, there was no way they weren't going to show.
You can't really see me.
And she did nothing about it, and she didn't even heed production's warning about it. And I'm glad she got called down for it, and I'm glad she cried about it. She
did cry about it, which is so funny.
She came in so confident, and I think I love when people are confident. I love that Fleur was that confident. I think when you make boneheaded mistakes when you're that confident, that's more embarrassing than the boneheaded mistake.
Every time I hear her name, I just think of DC's Jada Fleur. That's all I just want.
Yeah.
I just want to refer to her as.
And just to kind of jump in for a second, because I was listening. I obviously reacted to Floor channeling Valentina, and I unfortunately do need to move the conversation on.
Yeah,
But
go do it.
it's a really good time to move the conversation on because we're entering an age where, sure, Omarosa worked in the White House because the worst possible thing fucking happened, and Tim Hunter decided to become evil, and Trump got the White House. So Omarosa is sort of an exceptionality that we can't really discuss, but we are entering an age where reality stars have ramifications on what they contribute to reality, right? Reality stars, like the name has power. And Valentina clearly influenced Floor so deeply, down to when she wore a mask, she said, "I'd like to keep it on, please." And that was a moment for me. And yeah, I love Shay more than I love Valentina, but my favorite moment is Shay assassinating Valentina. That's that moment where Shay just becomes John Wilkes Booth, and everybody has a really lovely night in the theater until then. And it's such a powerful moment for me as a fan of these artists. Seeing somebody like Floor influenced by somebody like Valentina, who, yeah, I would expand our poly family a little bit for Valentina, to be honest with you. But what I actually think is that Valentina represents a beautiful manifestation of the identity of the Latinx woman. And I say Latinx woman because you can be, born male, born female, identify as male, female, or non-binary, everything in between, and still manifest this. And Valentina does it for me on a level that few people since the identity of Carmen in the opera itself have done. So seeing someone like Floor choosing to channel that reminds me of the power of something like this. I am honored when somebody as smart as Ali Galactic or as engaging as Talir chooses to be part of our show, because it reminds me that what we're doing affects other people that I respect. And I have to assume that that is how the Leota level character of Valentina feels when she sees somebody as spectacular as Floor channel her. I just want to thank you guys for pushing me to watch Drag Race Down Under. It was rewarding to be reminded that for all the ways that I am, a fan, a stan, and a super fan of Debbie Allen doing jazz in Brooklyn, I'm also a huge fan of Michael Flatley doing Riverdance. That idea of the same thing is beautiful in so many lenses. I was humbled by the idea that RuPaul has found a way to make culture as easily accessible, but hopefully not as simply disposable as the Girl Scout cookie. You can reach for it, enjoy it, and begin to understand something you just didn't know before. And I'm so, so grateful to the two of you for encouraging me not to watch an episode of television, but to engage with another culture in a way that I haven't since I was surrounded by the people of that culture, telling me how beautiful it was to see Melbourne Nights or to really view the Sydney Opera House. And as a guy who writes opera, literal dream. So guys, talk to me for a moment. Kevo first, because that's the guy at the bottom, but certainly never at the bottom of the list, and quite a top. So Kevo, talk to me for a moment about your reactions to Down Under, and then we'll go up the list.
Work, mate.
I believe this is actually just one of their road signs. These animals do work.
Literally.
They vogue the street and they vogue down new asphalt. It's amazing.
No, that'd be no gang.
It's actually Kermiting, so Kevy.
Muppeting.
It's fun. I'm glad that we have a new world to explore with this, to see what things change, what things stay the same. Yeah, I think it's too soon for me to make any real hardcore judgments about it. But yeah, I'm in.
Let's go up that list. Jojo, I described you as the cutest boy in all of Philly, which wonderful description, but you're not just here because you got a fly haircut and killer facial hair. You're here because you have a lot to say about the critical understanding of media as it shapes our world. You're one of the people who pushed me not just to become part of the drag race community, but to give drag an understanding as an art form on the level with what I love the most, vaudeville. How do you feel about the interpolation of your work leading us to watching Drag Race Down Under and the greater aspect of Drag Race International?
It feels rewarding. It feels great. I feel like I'm winning an award right now.
Your joke
It's
just got published in Highlights magazine, bro.
it's an honor. I'd like to thank
Dr.
the Academy.
Monkey.
No, I'm the Dr. Monkey.
Oh, you're Dr. Monkey. That's right.
Um,
It's gotta
but
be Orville.
this show, Drag Race, was a very tiny show for a very long time, and it took a while for it to be kind of taken seriously in a way that the larger corporate world believed in it in a way of, we can make money off this, but it believed it enough in it enough that, hey, we can have this queer talent show and have it shoved down all of our throats, and we're all going to eat every single second of it.
Fair enough.
And I am so happy that I was able to, along with TK's help, because he's been an incredible help this entire journey, of saying, like, hey, we think you might actually enjoy this. Give it one shot. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's okay, too. But we think you might like it. And to see how you guys have taken to it so well and so with so much gusto is really exciting and amazing. And I am pleasantly surprised and optimistic about Drag Race Down Under season 3. I think it was a very good episode. If this was like the first episode of season 1, I think it would have been a very different track record, and a very different illicit feelings elicited, I should say.
I feel that way about the police academies all the time.
Feelings illicit. She was on Desperate Housewives. I am just kind of looking forward with, unfortunately, bated breath. But I will say, if this does become a good season, I hope it kind of just revitalizes the interest in Down Under. I can't say I'm not remiss that Courtney Act will never be on here. I am very upset over that, and that's just the way things are. And also, shout out to Amel, who I learned through this was the chemical name for poppers, which did not understand that at first. So when her entrance line, I was
so
like,
those jokes made really no sense, huh?
no, unless they were talking about poppers, it didn't make a lot of sense. I feel bad. It kind of did break my heart when in her exit interview she talked about saying she feels embarrassed. She feels like she let people down. No,
She was great.
You were great.
Just side note, from the moment I heard her name, I could smell them.
Something
I get
loosened.
The way that other people feel about the immediately eliminated James Mansfield, I think I sort of felt about Amel, where I was like, no, I really, really felt like she had so much potential. So sad. She seemed so sweet.
Would have been like dropping Janice from the first episode of The Muppets. It just would have been a shame.
And I guess it's one thing to say, it's very easy for me to say back here behind my computer screen, you made it onto Drag Race, you already made it, just show them why they picked you. But I also understand if I was ever cast on Drag Race, I'd also probably scared shitless myself, and I probably would show it on my face. And I think that's me talking about someone like Isis, talking about Bump of Love, the knowing that have that stage presence, that ability that you've been on stage so many times, you can feel comfortable around these new people, around these cameras. I wish the people who don't have that much experience the best of luck, because I know it can be very hard to be and feel like you're a fish out of water. This is whole new compared to some of your other peers who are like, no, this is a Tuesday night for me.
And speaking of a Tuesday night for us, TK, you weigh in on Drag Race so many times a week, and I feel like Jonah, you used to say that, there aren't a lot of opportunities to weigh in on something like Drag Race without entering the fandom forum, which is occasionally hypercritical. I've never experienced so many downvotes as looking at the Drag Race Reddits. You know what I mean? So my question for you becomes, TK, as a guy who didn't just push me into loving drag as an art form, but a guy who pushed me into appreciating this show like a Match Game 76, Brett Summers, right? I want to know your opinion on entering into this world, and then from here, your job is to find a successful segue into food trucks. Go.
I really like that, we curated at the start for you guys. We chose specifically what we thought was going to be the best first season for you to watch.
5, then 9.
We chose what we thought would be a good follow-up to that, and then how we would sort of get on a track and keep you watching. But at a certain point, it actually kind of started making more sense to go just kind of in numerical order, and things just kind of fell in place. And we had been talking about, okay, you've watched everything. What are we gonna do? Like, I was thinking maybe UK1, and maybe I'd show you some Thailand or something like that.
I wanted to watch Canada 1 because Jimbo is the love of my life this year.
Canada was also in the mix, absolutely. And I really wasn't even paying attention. I just didn't think about the fact that Australia was starting, and I sort of love that there is a degree of like, whatever happens with this, we're just gonna go do the next thing and watch the next thing.
I mean, I just want to say, to your credit, TK, when did you come to the whole team with this?
Oh, I mean, 5 hours ago?
5 hours ago. Kevo, it came together with these beautiful graphics.
100%.
Each queen, this incredible backdrop, this whole setup celebrating the beautiful down under culture that the Drag Race team together has established. I don't know. I'm really kind of moved because I have such a particular affinity for the Australian and New Zealand culture as a result, again, of the Disney College program, getting to work with so many people. I'm just really proud of Kevo for doing such a beautiful job making this culture look so beautiful.
And deeply, deeply grateful. I'm so grateful for everybody for just getting right on board, because this was the one that was on next. And I'm, while I would have loved to have done Canada or UK or whatever, that this is the one that started this week that we can kind of keep going and keep watching. Is exciting and fun. I love them all, so I'm not like I'm just excited to be watching what is happening now and is current, and just kind of to keep rolling along with it, much the way a food truck has to just kind of keep rolling along until you find a parking space and park and start serving food.
Gosh. And Kevy, I love that you have decided to punctuate this entire experience with drumsticks. That is the most unbelievable.
Really into my drums again.
Yeah, it's Animal Matt Chamberlain levels of hotness for you. Although the hottest drummer of all time is Dave Grohl, and everybody knows it.
So yeah, the show's still happening.
Who's the drummer in the Monkees?
Mike Ness. No, Peter. No. Oh God, the guy I love, Mickey Dolenz.
Mickey?
It
wasn't you.
Mickey Dolenz. It's a fucking big, thick jaw Mickey Dolenz, the hottest guy in the entire
Mickey
band.
was the drummer. Okay.
Yeah. I do want to say I'm bummed out because I love the Pirosepa, not just because as somebody who was told you're too white to be Latin, despite a father who was, so significantly darker skinned, people would be like, are you sure that's your child in Disney World? This Pirosepa didn't just represent a powerful Latin team with clearly a photogenic team, good gracious, but heart. They represented a team that cooked from passion, that cooked from culture, that picked from what they loved about the things they did. I just feel like Kana started like, what if the Green Ranger never broke free of Rita and decided they loved being evil? And
All
Kana
right.
is so evil that I'm rooting for vegans.
I don't think Kana is evil.
Get off the show.
I
You know, of course.
I don't know.
it's weird stuff happened with Kana for sure.
I actually want to say, spoken like a business owner. Like, I do want to say, really realistically, spoken like someone who says, hey, you know what? Sometimes you have to do weird stuff, not unattractive stuff, not ugly stuff, but weird stuff. And that's what it takes to survive. I'm an artist. So, you know what? If you can't draw it on the sidewalk and jump into it, I don't really want to do it. And I really respect how you're speaking up for Kana, a team we've maybe been a little hard on as a group.
And the fact is, if, a producer or Tyler himself called me up and said, no, they really just treated their employee like absolute dog shit, fired him with basically no notice, and he was a really nice guy, and, they just got rid of him.
They pooped literally in Mother Teresa's mouth.
I would say I was wrong. They clearly are not nice people, but I sort of feel like we've all seen reality TV, and I do believe there is a plausible world in which it really wasn't working out. They were just clashing. He wasn't happy either. They felt like they would not survive the show.
He seemed toxic, for sure.
He did. He really did. And again, could be totally wrong. The fact that they seem to have such a great relationship with Carl, who worked for another food truck and was brought on in order to Kevo, goddamn,
I just made this.
such brilliant artistry. Thank you so much. That they found this other person that they could work with, and they brought him on, and they were successful. There was some talk about cutthroat moves, and I don't think they really did anything that was underhanded outside of the rules of the game. I'm very sorry to Lisa's, but somebody has to go home every week, and
look, I root for the all-woman truck, but a creperie, come on, guys, you were starting.
Stop it!
And
Stop doing crepes.
Two-woman truck. This is a 2/3 woman.
We're gonna
truck,
get the crepes later.
I literally, this makes me like, I'm so glad I censored myself. This, guys, a creperie on a truck. Listen,
Groundbreaking from white women.
Do not go to the Knights of Columbus looking for really sexy male strippers. You should not go to a truck looking for delicious crepes. These three women, 1000% Michelin chefs.
Them with the vegans making it this far was a miracle in and of itself.
But
Listen.
crepes on a truck, Jonah.
What?
I just missed the Paisati boys.
They were the three hottest boys
oh my
to come out of.
God.
I mean, okay, probably the one on the left doesn't do it quite.
I was
for me
gonna
as
say the
visually.
two hottest boys, and then
If he'd
one
work
that was
on
fun.
it, he could be better.
But these three
Listen
guys
to
actually,
us.
they represented something that I think is the heart of food truck road race that maybe gets forgotten. The spirit of community, the spirit of we're all in this together. They gave and gave for, like, they were a pantry. They literally were willing to be part of the contributions of what made other trucks succeed, not just be part of the roadblocks that made other trucks not win challenges. That dichotomy, not that they were willing to give other trucks the win, but they were unwilling to be what impeded them. That's actually my problem with Kana. That's why I'm frustrated. I mean, yeah, is the middle one absolutely the muscle boy dream?
Oh, I know.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
If he wanted me to help him recreate the Mark Wahlberg tied up photo, but there's
You got to
only
see him with that hat off.
Hold on. I actually need to say nothing makes me as happy as the fact that Jacob Kruger, like when you think about people as smart as you, there's, you try to keep a short list. Jake is at least as smart as me and then 10, 7, 5-fold, and is getting into all of my favorite reality shows. So I am like hungry for their incredible perspective. So hearing that Jake not only has been devouring Lego Masters, but has been, been taking a look at food truck and appreciating
Yeah.
the Boston brick houses of Paisanis. Sorry about it, not meaning to go on and on about our contributors, but one of the things that makes X's for Show a little bit different is we are a community like kind of like what I'm trying to say food trucks is, and what I'm saying Paisani represented in a season that maybe didn't always seem the most romantically cohesive. But what did this season have? Oh, it had one of the 2 appearances of Dan from Lime Truck. When
why
we
didn't I get a
talk about
picture of him?
human men that are like too like, this guy is like an animated character. He's not too beautiful to be real, but like Dan from Lime Truck represents the male character of a Panic at the Disco song. And he has been in multiple reality shows this season that we're going to talk about today. And Dan from Lime Truck showed up, and I think he tried to have sex with everyone on the Kana and Easy Vegan trucks.
Good.
Oh gosh, Kevy,
They
that's
should be so lucky.
bless. Dan from Lime Truck. I don't know. You don't think about a lot of celebrities coming from Food Truck Road Race, but Dan from Lime Truck just balances that he's watched billions and maybe has made millions line that I really need from people. I just root for Dan from Lime Truck. And I wish I didn't think his name was Dan from Oh God, Kevy, that Sprite jacket.
I need that.
He actually
I know
has
you do.
he has a beautifully Hebrew last name. I can't remember it at the moment, but it is chosen and beautiful and
Shem Top.
everything bagel. So I would love to open the floor about this episode of Food Trucks before we bounce to the other show he was on, Food Stars, which
Shemtop?
guys,
Shem Top. Yeah, I said.
thank you.
Okay.
I guys, I just want to be Caroline so bad. So I can't wait to talk about Food Stars, where literally nothing can hurt Caroline, the most impervious woman on earth.
No one can hurt Caroline but Caroline.
God, I can't even imagine her diary. I'm literally bleeding to talk about Caroline. I'm wringing my hands so tight. But please, everybody, finish your thoughts about food trucks before we talk about Caroline's show.
There was some trucks, there was some food, and there's definitely some racing. So let's
Like
get
Fast and
rolling.
Furious. Yeah.
Is the finale tonight?
Yeah, the finale is right now. The finale is like literally, if time is time and not immaterial, as I'm afraid
Do you
it
think
is.
do you think they're gonna do a reaction video where everyone just sits and waits, or is that just gonna be only for Drag Race? Do you think they're
They're
gonna do
just
it? Look,
holding each other's hands.
I hope they do a reaction video on a big truck set to our show, and they want to see what we think. That's what I'm hoping.
This show, unfortunately, this particular season, because I've watched other seasons of this has lost steam as it has gone on, and
Not
I think
the
it's
strongest season beginning to end. I very
I think it's a
agree
mix
with
of who's there and the types of challenges. I also think LA is the soul-sucking worst place in the world and just takes joy out of things that happen in the world. So, like, just that they're out there with LA bleeding the joy out of the show doesn't help. And just weird stuff happened that you can't account for, like this thing with Kana, but also like DeBald guy being MVPs at a level that doesn't happen very much, and then just because of the nature of the show, suddenly going to the bottom and then home the next week. It's been weird, and unfortunately, I think it could have benefited from something like the crime scene kitchen merge, some slight change in the nature of the game that comes halfway through and just sort of changes expectations a little bit. At this point, it is I don't want to say a race to the bottom, but it's like, obviously nobody likes Kana. Like, I have more nice to say about them, but I'm not like, I love these guys. I have a lot of respect for a woman who is trying to spread awareness of her cultural cuisine, but even more so
Yeah.
when it's Pakistani cuisine, which is not super easy to make seem accessible.
And it's so hard to root for vegans in the first place.
And then there's that. Then there is that the other truck is a vegan truck in LA of all places.
I'm not
that they
saying
look
that I
like they
don't
run a
support
vegan
veganism,
food truck,
but-
that they're all in Carhartts and overalls and have the same haircut. It's the weirdest. I just the haircut thing was a joke, everybody, I swear.
Craziest thing that I just noticed, though, this is
What?
how I originally laid this board out.
Yeah.
Easy Vegan is right next to Kana
Uh-huh.
over here, and they are right next to Kana on the lineup. Easy
Rigged.
Vegan, Kana.
It's all rigged.
Rigor Morris.
And
It was rigor
here's
mortis,
the
girl.
block
Who is
next
Morris?
to Kana. The block next to Kana where they stole what's his name from the block. All of the
there you go.
final is
What,
this
production?
corner of the horseshoe here.
Production was trying to tell us something.
Crazy.
Listen, all I know is that I would watch any Pornhub studio that features the guys from The Bald Guy or De Pura Sepa, no questions asked. Right?
So, you know, if this whole food truck thing
questions
doesn't
would
work
you
out,
ask?
guys,
Yeah, how do we get here? Is there food involved? Are they catering it while they're making the video? There's actually
Also-
a lot of questions you could ask.
Also, Paisani boys, and frankly, the guys from the block, I've seen worse. So you
Miko
boys
wants to
could
put
do
your
pretty
kids through college, so just, you know.
I'm gonna run an unfortunate studio. I'm a
Think about
Legrand
it.
bear. Anyway, so food
LeGrand
stars,
James.
right? Kevy, did you have any thoughts on food trucks before we drive over to food stars?
I'm nervous about this finale. I guess we'll see.
I guess
It's been
we'll
a fun
see.
ride.
Well, drive that car over to Food Stars, Kevy, because we're going to go and take a look at a show that tragically actually received its British original cancellation just a week after the American adaptation started. Gordon Ramsay's Food Stars is an adaptation of Gordon Ramsay's Future Food Stars, a BBC series which received a cancellation earlier in July, just 2 weeks after the cancellation of his ITV series. Geez, this guy is just losing shit all over the place.
Poor
Yikes.
Gordy.
Right? Gordy. Oh, lordy. But Food Stars is perhaps
Unhinged.
it's unhinged. Like, if you were to say to me, what do all of the Schedule 2 narcotics have in common? That's the same thing that all of the 6 finalists in Food Stars have in common. Caroline, my personal goddess, is in the upper left. And when I say personal goddess, I mean kind of like Hecate or like Hell with one L. Caroline is literally
With one L.
insane.
Yeah.
Insane. They have created a character in her that is like Willow from Buffy season 6. Just what a deranged, delightful character. The real woman is probably much more put together than the parts they've cut together for her. But my God, is she entertaining. Still in the mix is also Tony. My pick to win, the beautiful, brilliant, and talented Ashley, who has fucking brought it every single episode. The inept, and I have to imagine, I don't know, banging a producer till their eyes roll backward in time. Aaron, no explanation there. Chris, the lovable and likable father. Hey, I miss you, Luther. I don't know what happened there. Lan, girl, is your skin Teflon? What is happening? You are failing upward in this competition like I have not seen since a Kardashian or an anti-gravity chamber. Lan, you are a talented person. You are a brilliant person for having your own company. Not one of these challenges has been designed to your skills.
No, hold on. Wait, no. The coffee shop.
Okay, fine. One. Truly, yeah, this episode was weird because Megan's elimination was so uncomfortable. Like, uncomfortable for me to watch.
You also forgot that Sydney's still there, right? Isn't she still there? No, she's not there. I forgot.
No,
I thought she was.
thought that her
Kidney didn't fall
crone,
out?
as a guy with IBD, I really, identified with her, being really open about having Crohn's, which is a really
No,
complicated
she
thing to
did
talk
get
about.
eliminated.
Yeah, I believe she self-eliminated, actually. I thought
No,
she...
no, 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 no.
Oh, no, she just got eliminated the week that she was ill.
No,
Right.
after. A little bit after.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to pretend to think that it was coming for her. How do you guys feel about Food Stars? We are well past the halfway point. I don't know how Aaron's still here. No, for real. He must be some sort of unbelievable stallion in bed, or perhaps paying someone, because I don't think he's untalented, but Gordon has been outright cruel to him 2 or 3 times at this point. It seems like Gordon is keeping him despite Gordon wanting to get rid of him.
He kicked the guest fish back in the water.
Animal cruelty.
Well, he couldn't touch it. He's allergic, I guess.
Which was he didn't bring that up.
Does he have that much of a social media presence, I wonder? Because I think of my precious Dom from Lego Masters getting cut way too quick. And, that whole thing of they were brought in as social media influencers and whatever. What is his appeal? What has he got going for him that they're just sort of passing forward?
Because they want the young audience. It's the same reason, as much as I can enjoy them and love their brand.
This is the young audience?
It's the same reason why spay and neutered. Yeah, spay and neuter, nut and bolt. Honestly, the cast.
I haven't loved a character out of nowhere like Caroline since Wanda from Game of You. Like, that is the level of insanity that Caroline brings to all of this. These bitches are going to call down the moon. I think Gordon Ramsay might be the male Thessaly. TK, one of the things you bring to reality TV is specifically, you're like actually a semi-professional cook, and you have made literally the greatest dish I've ever had in my life. And so I feel really comfortable asking you how you feel about food. And, of note, TK made the greatest dish I've ever had in my life, but Jonah has made the best cake I've ever had. So just want to highlight everybody's skills. And of course, Kevo's cake.
Got great cakes.
So TK, talk to me. How do you feel about seeing who are a little bit entrepreneurs, who are a little bit chefs, who are a little bit people who kind of, I think their agents tricked them into this? How do you feel about these people performing up to these levels?
I don't like it. This is not a good show for me. This is too much work on Company Pond, and that's a party down joke for anybody who didn't miss it. But so Caroline, a show of all Carolines, I would eat up.
You mean Drag Race?
Exactly. She is so clearly unhinged, and yet I don't think doesn't work hard for her business. I do think that a very wealthy family made it possible for her to have success and work hard at the business that she works hard at.
You mean the friend of Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton, Caroline?
I was living it up with the girls, and then whoops, somehow I fell pregnant, and here I am making pizza sauce.
God.
I don't.
It was the MTV's The Challenge for her. So
there are shows like Secret Chef that so tell you over and over again and reinforce why everybody should be there and doing the thing that they are doing that episode, and why everybody's talent will come into play, even while some people might have strengths in one part of cooking and others in another. Some might have more familiarity with a certain type of cuisine that's going to be featured on this episode. Others might have familiarity with the type of cuisine featured the next. It's all going to come out in the wash. This is chaos. You should not know how to do everything in the food service industry, let alone in like the food industry as a whole. You have to specialize. If you are producing packaging for Twinkies, you should not know how to
make a wine.
Yes.
Prepare a wine box wearing sock set. It's like so absurd.
It is just absurd.
Too
and
absurd.
It doesn't need to be. There's a way to do this. You either curate the guests or you curate the challenges or you meet in the middle with it. But, just when you run a restaurant, you simply, especially if you're just like starting out, if you're in your first few years and you're really seeing success, you really do not need to know how to bottle a beverage. And it is probably better that you not know how to bottle a beverage.
Fair.
So it frustrates me. Gordon Ramsay, I can tell, is a good man who has a good heart and loyalty to the people that he surrounds himself with. But it seems like whenever he gets into bed with American television, somebody says to him, I see you have a really good idea over there in Britain. We would like to just fuck it to death and ruin everything that made it beautiful. And he goes, but
No, sounds
for
great.
money, right? You pay
I love
me.
your Italy. Have you heard of my friend Charles Entertainment Cheese? Let me talk to you about pizza.
Listen, he has a friend named Pasquale, and it's just
Is
great.
Pasquale always
It's
this
like a
hot?
legitimate chef.
Yep. I mean, you guys are all nailing it. This is what happens. And
I just wish Bowen Yang literally wrote life.
Well,
shows where he goes and helps people in England make their little sub shop work, and I just want to help you out. And then he makes the same show in America. I wish you were dead, and is just screaming at them. You're just not
well, you're forgetting that him dressing up in drag, dressing up as an old man,
Yeah.
doing a
Dressing up in
character,
drag and jumping out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
and then ripping the disguise off and going, wig reveal, I'm actually Gordon Ramsay, and everyone going, what?
Yep.
I made this entire food empire when my mother left me at a bus stop, and all I had was this wig and a set of prawns.
Pull up a chef's hat and reveal a second chef's hat.
And then he pulls up that chef's hat, and Remy comes out. Not to be confused with Rami.
TK's expressing the major flaw of this show. Going back to Drag Race, where I consider Drag Race one of the hardest reality competition shows that you would ever want to apply for, because if you want to win, you have to be a dancer, an actor, a comedian, a singer, a seamstress, and a damn talented, beautiful person who could do makeup. You're basically it has to do like 6 things.
And it's okay to be trans after season 13.
Yeah. And that makes sense because not always, but most of the time, the Drag Race challenges apply to situations that a queen might find themselves. And if you want to be RuPaul, you have to do the things that RuPaul did, which was all of these things. It makes sense.
You have to blow the mayor of New York City?
Well, take me down to New York City, where New York is new and the city is city.
God damn, the things I have to do for Ed Koch then.
But this show, as TK points out, doesn't make sense. Why does someone like Lan, who has a coffee business, running this hut on the beach? Why do any of these people? None of them are sommeliers or in the vineyard business. Why are they making wine packages?
Why are
That
they
doesn't
throwing
make any
axes?
sense.
God damn, what did
Why
that
are they
do
doing
to
a
your
camping
insurance?
experience?
It's like they're trying to do Drag Race with chefs without the drag, so there's all
But
these
they're not
chaotic
even chefs.
competitions.
They're
Yeah.
not even chefs. They're people who have food companies, which is why the name of the show is Food Stars, because they're not all of them are chefs, which is just weird. The only
I'm just
way
like, yeah.
this show works is if every single contestant has a competing business against one another in the same industry. But every single person there literally all did something different. We're not competing against one another in terms of what their space in the market is.
Agreed.
So what is this show
So this is a
doing?
little bit more like Willy Wonka then. Everybody has all these different motivations.
Truly, they're all.
I want to see who has the golden ticket.
Me, I do.
It's his hair. How this man's hair plugs have held up after the amount of cycles he must have done to be this fit at, like, I don't know, what is he, 70? It's insane.
Between 40 and death.
Unbelievably fit and beautiful. It's incredible.
He looks great. but it's just, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay just kind of playing God, kind of like RuPaul, and like, these are my puppets, these are my, dance for me, dance monkey, dance monkey. I just don't understand the actual point of the show, because he's asking them to apply their knowledge to fields that they were never going to be in after this, that they're never going to do, in order to find his next business partner.
Well, he maintains it's because to do anything in the food business, you must be able to do everything, even a little bit food related.
But that's just objectively not true.
It's objectively and subjectively not true. Absolutely.
Majority of people are not going to be pulling a party down and running as well as being servers in a charity event. They literally did an episode of Party Down. I'm still not over it.
So, okay, I am going to move us a little bit ahead to the last thing we're going to cover today. We had a longer docket, but we've clearly had a little too much fun with the things we've talked about. So the last thing we're going to take a look at is what I thought was the most amazing episode of Project Runway in a number of years. Okay. So Lance getting her second win was beautiful, and yes, I pronounced it like I had a mouthful of baguettes because that is how you say it. It's Lance. It's a beautiful name. She's a beautiful woman, and you know, if you're gonna wear a green jumpsuit a la Blanche Devereaux's Wallpaper, yeah, girl, wear it, and that's what she does in her season premiere image. And it's only gotten better from there. I think she is such an incredible performer in terms of giving the audience what they're looking for each week. I'm very grateful for Laurence's success in this season, but Rami's failures have been equally, I don't know, providing. I've been very excited for what Rami's given. And yeah, yes, do I have a predilection toward Middle Eastern gentlemen? Sure. Do I think Rami's gorgeous? Of course. It's hard to look at him and not see how he is like literally the definition of Professor Daddy. But my actual draw to Rami is he's a kind man, and he's done so much. And when he was eliminated in this episode, and every single person fought, including the judges, to tell him what a gift he is to fashion, I was moved beyond belief. And Kevo and I had joked months ago, what if Christian used his Siriano save on Rami? And when he did, I felt like the 21-year-old boy in me who was on the Disney college program and needed somebody to believe in, and believed in Rami, and then believed in Christian, and saw Christian grow into the man he's grown into. I don't know. When I look at Jonah, when I look at this guy that I met when he was 20 years old, and now I see this, like, you know, unbelievable man he's grown into, this success, this boy who makes me proud as a man, right? Like, that's kind of what I transfer onto Christian. And the idea that a Christian could save his Rami, that one day, if I needed it, a Jonah could be there for me like that. It's the whole reason you mentor. Just the idea that your mentee would one day be strong enough to be there for somebody like that. This episode sort of symbolized to me the many years I've spent as a teacher and felt very, very unfulfilled. But it represented the good years of it. And it represented the magic of getting to be a mentor to somebody as incredible as Jonah. And Christian saving Rami was just such a beautiful moment for me as a fan, going back 15 years now. So I would love to know what you guys think about Rami's non-elimination.
Rigged. I'm just kidding.
Exciting, emotional.
I mean, you know, it kind of is rigged. Like, it's kind of the definition. One of the producers decides He loves you too much.
He's
and
literally
he
an
can't-
executive producer.
He can't bear to let you go. For one thing, I don't actually believe this is a reality TV show about people competing to make the best possible fashions. I think this is the story of two young men who met, 15 years ago and fell in love but went their separate ways to work in their fields and have reunited all these years later.
And also, Karasan wants awards.
And then there's a B plot.
Karasan is the B plot. Okay.
But really, like, I told Nico, like, I was being funny because it was actually a great episode. It's fine, but I said that it was uncomfortable to watch, and it is a little uncomfortable because I
believe your exact words were something along the lines of Christian is not yet done appreciating everything Rami has to offer him.
Yeah, those were the exact words. That's what I said. Gun to my head, you could not convince me to show that much emotion in front of a camera that would show it to the world. That Christian is sitting there weeping, not even over the fact that Rami is leaving, because he knows that he has in fact just saved him, and he's saying, I'm not ready for you to go. What the fuck? It was so insane that this just became a love story about these two men. And I'm pretty sure from here on out, the competition is making their wedding clothes.
I bless, because I'm telling you right now, if Bring Me a Boy was willing to make that video, yeah, I genuinely think the idea of a Rami and a Christian is such a humongous part of not just like, I mean, I joke a lot that at 37 years old, I have a 50-year-old boyfriend, but like, yeah, Jonah, you're in your 20s and your boyfriend is approaching 40. Like, it's not a thing that is unrealistic to queer culture. And like, yeah, I think we've all kind of attached a little bit to the idea of a Christian and a Rami.
They're
get
the
what you're
OTP
saying.
of the season, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And it's very cute. It's very funny. But this has been great TV all the way through. It's heartbreaking when every person leaves because they're all fierce competitors. There are no filler queens this season. Nobody, even at the start, stumbled to such a degree that you were like, well, fuck her, just send her home. Like, obviously she's
fuck
terrible.
my drag.
Fuck her drag. So many of the, actually that's not true. The old lady that creeped me out, and I think she probably was just there to take souls.
Mila. Oh my
yeah,
God.
thank you. She
Poor
maybe was not doing well.
Frau Totenkinder, got it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. She maybe was not doing so well, and it seemed like was probably it was safe to assume that she was going home. But like Victor, gut punch. Hester, gut punch. So many of these were just gut punches when they had to go. And that's great TV. That meltdown that everybody had at Anna, despite the fact that I think it was wildly inappropriate and nasty.
It's just something you've made before. So you should go home and all of my friends should stay because I never made friends with you. I had too much wine this week and I can't believe they're not cutting this and they're contractually forcing me to apologize.
Kane just like getting in her face and staring at her while she stares straight ahead, and you know that he's just trying to like mentally force her to be like, I recuse myself from the competition.
You're
He's
all
using
right.
Jedi mind tricks.
Absolutely.
You're all correct.
You guys are all so right. I should have left. My bad. Absolute bonkers shenanigans. And it's very fun. The looks throughout are incredible. I really was very I did not agree with who won because this was all versus, and I did not agree with a lot of who won and who lost. But I actually really appreciated that for the most part, the judges did the thing that I said that they have not been doing nearly enough, which is saying these were both really good. It's
Truly.
just that one was better and somebody has to win. There have been so many times where even the losers' looks have been really great, and the judges bring them out as though they brought a burlap sack and cut armholes in it and said, "You get in there." And that's maybe what I really don't like about Brandon is sometimes the way he talks to them is just like, "You garbage piggy, that's not fashion."
He talks
And
to
then
them
to
like
sit
they
down
forced.
with them at the opening of this episode, like, we're gonna kiki. Like, no, you don't belong here. Stay away from the children.
So much of his vibe is just lame teacher that thinks that he's doing it for your own good.
I'm a cool
We're all
judge.
friends, right? So who's on drugs?
He talks to them like they're all like trying to show up to an event, like some sort of like Met Gala in a Transformers Spirit Halloween costume.
Yes.
And like it's this level of like, I see what you're doing where you're trying to buck against tradition and medium, but you know you look like a fool, right? And
we
like,
don't do that here.
It's this sort of level of
That's something we do with the spirit as designers.
And the problem is sometimes Elaine does the same thing, but she's serving so much cunt, like it can look down on you a little bit. Brandon has shown up in like New Balances and like Wranglers. Don't talk to people like that.
I actually just want to point out that the most important thing that needs to be said about Elaine Welteroth serving cunt is she actually serves cunt.
Yeah.
Where there's an H after the U before the N, and it stands for honey. Oh, I love ha ha ha, but there is a sweetness. Like when Elaine comes at you, it's meant to taste good. It's meant to go down smooth. But when Brandon comes at you, it's like cheap vodka.
Yeah,
and it
he's
stings
a
little bit. A little bit. But
I'm not into it.
We're gonna wrap this
let's
motherfucker
wrap her up.
Because we got a ton more stuff we meant to talk about, but goddamn, we had such an incredible time talking about the MCU and then talking about Drag Race Down Under, and Project Runway All Stars, food stars, food trucks, and more. It's such a pleasure to get to share this 3 hours and at this point 6 minutes with you. Yikes! So I want to start with Jonah.
Yes.
For your money, for your sake, when we talk about something like the identity of a reality star, when we talk about the identity of a winner package, of a winner look, of a winner vibe, what are the two most important hallmarks for you? I'm going to get things going. For me, it's confidence and it's kindness. Nobody better exemplifies those two terms than Sasha Colby, or you know what, maybe even perhaps Jinx Monsoon, who also could have talent in there, but Jinx Monsoon was never cruel. She was never unkind, and she was never less than the sweetest human. So when I think about winners across all of reality, except Arena, who served literal savage, toxic cunt every single week of Project Runway. Other than that, I think those are the two words that are the most important. Jonah, what two words come to mind the most for you when talking about the quality of a reality winner? And where can everybody find the sexiest boy in all of Philadelphia?
For my money, I think the two most important are confidence, like you said, but I'm going to say talent.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to be talented at what we're asking you to do, because let's not forget one of your favorite winners who maybe wasn't the most congenial in Project Runway, season 6 winner Arena.
I just came for her real hard, okay? He's the meanest person on the planet.
But I didn't think she was really that mean. And I don't always think that you have to be the most congenial person always ever. Sometimes you just can let your talent speak. Not that I want you to be rude, but I don't think you need to always be congenial.
You don't feel that kindness needs to be a focal point in your winner package, as long as you're not prioritizing being cruel.
Correct. As long as you are not being needlessly ruthless and rude and mean to your competitors, your peers, to other people, like people behind the scenes, as long as you're, if you might not be the warmest person, but that's okay. If you're a talented BICTH and you really know what you're doing,
I love
and you
that
have
you
the
spelled
confidence.
bitch when we're saying cunt so liberally. God bless.
Well, I was making a Vine reference.
Because he's a sweetie boy.
Well, that too. Yeah, I want you to be I want you to be talented. I want you to, and have the confidence of, I was picked for their reason. I'm going to showcase why. And that's what I look for in a winner. And you can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at Peak Jonah.
Well, I recommend everybody follow you because, as I said earlier, you are one of the two voices that got us into Drag Race. So clearly, you are a tastemaker. You are a trendsetter. You are the guy to follow. Now, speaking of guys that follow, Kevo, you are going after Jonah, but only in order, but certainly not in quality, quantity, or ability. It has been such a pleasure becoming not just a Drag Race fan alongside you, but Kevo, there is not a moment I was an MCU fan without you. I might have been a Marvel fan since I am 5 years old, but there's not a moment of the MCU that you were not in my corner. And we've talked a little bit about MCU, we've talked a little bit about Drag Race, and I would love to know for you, what makes a reality star winner? And if you want, you could just throw in MCU because that's where we started. Oh, also, and where can everybody find you?
That whole preamble was just throwing some MCU crap if you want.
Kind of, sort of. I didn't want you to feel like you were forced into one or the other.
Talent and secondarily kindness, a lot like JoJo was saying. I don't really root for someone who is going to be a jerk, bottom line. And if you at least are the most talented person, I can kind of get it. But a lot of these programs, talent is super subjective. So it's really what kind of person you are, hugely. And you can find me on the socials at Kevoreally, Kevoreally.
I also just want to say, speaking to the heart of what everybody is saying, a queen that maybe doesn't get enough credit or maybe gets too much credit, depending on which guy on my right you're asking. Rosé is actually featured in the ads for San Francisco. She is actually just like beautiful, amazing, and just what a gift to the art of drag, to the art of vocalization, and to being beautiful. So she exemplifies everything I've heard so far, but also being a scratchy voice Scott's nut job. But speaking of amazing people that I love so much, not that is what we were talking
Scratchy
about.
voice nut jobs.
Ooh, scratchy voice nut jobs. TK, talk to me. What two words exemplify winners to you? And also, where can everybody find the unbelievably hottest guy in Maine?
2 words. Yes, slay.
Work.
Perfect.
Yeah, if you
We've
if
made
you
a
need to
terrible
throw a
mistake,
third one in
Kevo.
for a little extra spice, you could get work into the mix. You can find me at TK Elemental. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, I do think what all of these shows have in common, and what you can always do to succeed in a reality television show, is in fact to slay. So you're welcome for that
Ooh,
advice.
how to succeed in reality television without even trying.
Just slay. It's not hard.
Slay Nation.
Slay
And
Nation. Yes.
Make sure after every episode we go, honestly, she ate.
Oh, I could eat.
I'm going to help out real quick. You guys can find me all over the interwebs at Nico Action. That's NICOACTION. You can also find me, if this is 1998, at X Gray Phoenix Boy X, or the Katie
Xander Harris
Blues.
2000.
Oh yeah, guys. I bet Jonah has some really cute Pokemon names he's just not bringing up on air, and I can only imagine the incredible screen names that TK had.
Oh, for sure.
But anyway, I love making this show. I love making what we make. Wednesday, we have an unbelievable debut for you folks. It's going to break the internet wide open. Joe Quesada's giant, unbelievable Thunder Dick style. That's Joe Quesada had a band called Thunder Thighs, and they did a track for Next Wave called Next Wave. It had extra A's in it.
I believe you.
It was a thing. And then Joe Quesada also was the guy who coined the phrase crack the internet in half. Anyway, we love making this show for you. We make Comics Wednesdays, highlights of media on Saturdays, and of course, all the best TV has to offer on Sundays, whatever form TV may take. Remember, if you love TV, movies, or comics, strike. Support the strike and support those who are striking. Continue to talk about their beautiful work. Continue to celebrate these artists. Never stop saying how important they are to you, but do not demand that they work in this time, and do everything you can to keep their names on your tongue while they are unable to work, because they are keeping what is important alive, and that is being able to survive on these wages. Okay, until then, stay strong, be brave, evolve daily, and we'll see you on Wednesday.